Imagine living a calm, trouble-free life, away from the ups and downs of the city and being ready for whatever challenges come your way. It might sound like a dream, but I'm here to tell you that the secret to living that way has been around for a while, and it's waiting for you to find it. This unique video will introduce you to modern Stoicism today. When we are in this wild world, we are often swept away by the waves of our emotions, diversions, and desires. The knowledge of Stoicism provides a means by which one may discover inner calm, self-discipline, and mental fortitude in the middle of all that is going on around them. The stability and steadiness of it is akin to that of a rock. To begin our journey down this path, the first thing that we need to do is acquire the ability to let go. You will not only learn how to differentiate between things that you can control and things that you cannot manage, but you will also learn how to let go of the things that you are unable to control. Through the practice of Stoicism and simplicity, we are able to purge both our inner and outward environments, so creating place for pursuits that are more significant. First and foremost, we need to make place in our life for the things that really bring us joy. The next thing we need to do is work on improving our willpower. To become a great person, the Stoic approach is to develop one's own self-discipline. The development of values, the control of one's impulses, and the living of a life that does not conform to the ever-evolving whims of society, but rather adheres to the unchangeable principles that bring about happiness, are all essential components. Now that we have our attention on the task at hand, we are able to confront the challenges that life presents us with. It is at this point that the mentality that cannot be broken comes into play. During this session, we will discuss 10 powerful lessons that will equip you with the mental fortitude you need to navigate the challenging waves of life. It is not about having an excessively positive outlook. Rather, it is about having powerful mental models that assist you in being resilient in the face of tough circumstances. Finally, but certainly not least, be ready to let your thoughts go. Stoicism will teach you 10 principles that will change your life and be of great assistance to you in breaking free from the limitations that you have placed on yourself. If you are able to pull the appropriate mental buttons, you will be able to take command of your feelings and behaviors, which will result in a significant improvement in the overall quality of your life. By adhering to the Stoic wisdom that we will address today, you may develop the ability to become immune to the turmoil that exists in the outer world. It bestows to you a sense of tranquility and contentment that can be deprived by nothing that is external to you. Learning how to live a life that is full of virtue, knowledge, and unshakable strength is something that you will learn on this route. As a result, take a few deep breaths and get ready to learn, be inspired, and be liberated as we investigate the practical wisdom of the modern-day Stoic. Imagine if you awoke in a tranquil setting where everything you possess had a specific location and a reason for being there. Your spirit is filled with joy and your mind is uncluttered. Imagine traveling through the storms of life with a strong will, knowing that the only things you can control are your thoughts and actions. Think about something like that. Although it may seem to be difficult, it is not impossible to achieve these objectives. Stoicism and minimalism are two distinct philosophical schools that were developed hundreds of years apart. Nonetheless, the path to a life that is meaningful is at the core of both of these schools of thought. Welcome to the Stoic way of life, which is a superior way of living. In this video, we will go on a journey that will expose the wisdom of great masters and peel aside the layers of selfishness that have accumulated over time. If you want to live a life that you like rather than merely surviving, this will help you do so. Before we get into it, let's speak about the emerging trend of contemporary minimalism. Simply said, minimalism is not only a fashion trend, rather, it is a way of life. It is about focusing on the things that make our lives better and getting rid of the things that aren't essential, the rubbish that makes our thoughts and locations heavy, and focusing on something that makes our lives better. The term minimalism refers to an artistic movement that emerged in the middle of the 20th century and placed special emphasis on simplicity and realism. As time went on, it made its way into a variety of cultural domains, including music, architecture, and way of life. As a means of regaining their time, space, and mental concentration, individuals are increasingly resorting to minimalism. They are coming to the realization that getting rid of the physical chaos enables them to more effectively cultivate relationships, pursue their interests, and experience a degree of depth that cannot be provided by worldly possessions. At this point, let us go back in time to the bustling streets of ancient Athens, which is where the concept of Stoicism was initially introduced during the 3rd century BC. Stoicism is similar to minimalism in that it emphasizes simplifying things, but its primary emphasis is on simplifying things on the inside in which one lives. In accordance with the teachings of the philosophy, the most effective method for leading a happy life is to cultivate self-control, rationality, and virtue. Stoicism assists individuals in determining what aspects of their lives they are able to manage and what aspects they are unable to control. It reminds individuals to concentrate on the things that they have control over and to let go of the things that they cannot. As a result of the insights provided by Stoic thinkers such as Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, we come to understand that pleasure is not derived from external circumstances, but rather from our own perspectives and reactions. The key to achieving simplicity and Stoicism is to let go of attachments. The philosophy of Stoicism encourages us to let go of mental burdens and bonds, while the philosophy of minimalism encourages us to let rid of all physical excesses. One thing that both schools of thought agree on is that there is freedom in an uncomplicated and detached state of being, having the liberty to lead a life that is filled with enjoyment, meaning, and purpose. Through seeing this movie, we will get a great deal of knowledge on the nuances of both simplicity and Stoicism. Our conversation will focus on their origins, the values they uphold, and the ways in which they have the potential to make people's lives better. Additionally, we will discuss how these concepts might be applied to our daily lives, as well as compare and contrast the various approaches. As an example, case studies and stories will demonstrate to us how these concepts have effectively altered the lives of actual individuals. In conclusion, we will talk about the things that we have discovered and urge you to begin putting into practice aspects of Stoicism and minimalism that are in line with your principles. In preparation for the beginning of this enlightening journey into the realms of Stoicism and minimalism, you should prepare ready to have your preconceived notions about what it means to lead a happy life questioned. For a life to be meaningful, it is necessary to have goals, to have virtue, and to have the fortitude to let go of things that aren't significant. Let's go along this path together, shall we? Now that we have that out of the way, let's move on to the first chapter of our discussion, which is about comprehending simplicity. It was not the minimalist trend that began on its own that we are familiar with today. Beginning in the late 1950s and continuing into the early 1960s, it was influenced by a variety of artistic styles, primarily music and visual arts. These styles of art placed a significant amount of stress on the use of simple elements and did not feel that art had to be difficult to comprehend in order to be significant. As time went on, this concept evolved into the concept of living a simple life. The early 2000s were the time when many began to question the consumerist culture that governed society. This coincided with the rise of minimalism as a popular way of living among the population. They want a life that was less difficult and more significant, free of all the activities and responsibilities that come along with it. This is the groundwork upon which the contemporary minimalism movement was founded. This movement is a response against the excesses of capitalism and the pursuit of pleasure that goes beyond the accumulation of worldly prosperity. Today, let's discuss the fundamental concepts that constitute the concept of simplicity. To begin, minimalism is all about simplifying things and making them easy to do. Simply said, it means getting rid of things that are unnecessary, worthless, and bothersome so that you may concentrate on the things that are really important. Getting rid of the clutter in your home, making your schedule more manageable, or even reducing the amount of time you spend on social media might all fall under this category. Creating a place for yourself, both physically and psychologically, that demonstrates what you value and what is most important to you is what it means to do this. The second fundamental guideline is to have a conscious attitude. The process of deciding what to retain and what to get rid of is an essential component of the minimalist lifestyle or philosophy. The process is not limited to just getting rid of stuff. Intentionality may be defined as the response to the question, does this add value to my life? Does this align with my goals and values? It is the act of living one's life with a purpose, as opposed to wandering aimlessly through life. It is about making choices that demonstrate the sort of life you want to spend the rest of your life. When it comes to the third perspective, quality is more significant than quantity. When people live in a society that is consumerist, they are often taught that more is better. This concept is called into doubt by the minimalist. The goal is not to get rid of things just for the sake of getting rid of them. Rather, it is to obtain the things that are appropriate. It is preferable to invest your money on items that are of high quality and relationships that will last, rather than amassing a collection of things that are of little benefit to you. While keeping these concepts in mind, let's have a look at the many advantages that come with leading a minimalistic lifestyle. To get things started, practicing minimalism might assist you in thinking more clearly by removing trash and items that are not required. We are able to create an environment that encourages individuals to focus and be creative. Our thoughts are able to think more clearly and make better decisions when we are not restricted by the need to cope with the turmoil that is occurring around us. Freedom from financial constraints is also another significant benefit. It is possible for us to reduce the amount of money that we spend on things that aren't essential if we plan what we purchase and prioritize quality over quantity. Having the ability to save money, get out of debt, and have the financial means to engage in activities and experiences that are meaningful to you may be accomplished via this. In addition, minimalism is beneficial to the welfare of the environment. If we reduce our consumption, our carbon footprint will decrease. Two of the most significant activities that are harmful to the environment are the production of things and the disposal of those items. We are not only improving the quality of our own lives when we make the decision to live with fewer possessions, but we are also making choices that are beneficial to the world when we do so. However, just like any other movement, minimalism has been subjected to its fair share of negative headlines and misconceptions. One of the most common complaints that people have is that the ability to choose to live with less is a luxury that not everyone is able to take advantage of. In addition, there are many who believe that the practice of minimalism might morph into a different kind of consumerism if individuals continue to purchase more minimalist items to replace the ones they currently own. There are also many who believe that living a minimalist lifestyle implies having very few possessions, or that it is a solution that is applicable to everyone. The idea that simplicity is not a rule, but rather a tool, should be kept in mind at all times. This is a method for bringing your life into alignment with your values and objectives, and it may be modified to meet your own requirements and preferences. It is essential to keep in mind that minimalism is not a goal, despite the fact that these criticisms are vital to take into consideration. Rather, it is a journey of self-discovery and finding one's purpose in life. On the contrary, it is not a hard set of rules, but rather a concept that can be modified to accommodate a variety of lifestyles and desires. The minimalist movement does not need us to be flawless. Rather, it encourages us to make progress and to be conscious of the decisions that we consciously make. In the same vein, simplicity should not be seen as only a benefit. Despite the fact that certain aspects of minimalism may be simpler to implement for those who have more stable financial situations, the fundamental concepts of minimalism, which include putting quality before quantity and concentrating on being focused, may be beneficial for people from all walks of life. It is possible to be content with having less possessions and making the most of what you already have, regardless of the number of products you own. In addition, in order to dispel the misconception that minimalism is a harsh or uninteresting way of life, it is essential to emphasize that it is not about possessing a certain quantity of items. Rather, it is about identifying what is important and getting rid of the things that detract from it. For some people, this may mean a house that contains just the items that they need, while for others, it may mean a collection of objects that they have carefully selected because they bring them joy and serve a necessary function. Many, many thanks. The idea of minimalism is profound and vibrant, and it encompasses more than just getting rid of your possessions. Creating a life that is rich in meaning, purpose, and enjoyment may be accomplished by putting an emphasis on quality, simplifying one's life, and making intelligent decisions. People who practice minimalism are better able to become financially independent, cleanse their minds, and safeguard the environment. However, just like any other philosophy, it is subject to criticism, and there are many who believe it is incorrect. While you should approach minimalism with an open mind, you should be aware that it is a tool that can be used in a variety of ways to build a life that is helpful. Moving further in our film, we will investigate the ancient knowledge of Stoic philosophy and examine how, similar to minimalism, it may assist us in letting go of the extraneous features that exist in both our external and internal environments. In this section, we will discuss the similarities and contrasts between these two ideologies, as well as provide you with some suggestions on how to combine them in order to live a more fulfilling life. Stay tuned as we go on a journey through time and philosophy, dissecting the threads of Stoicism and simplicity and weaving them together to create a tapestry of happiness, purpose, and purpose. This is not only a call to cleanse or to remain stoic in the face of misfortune, rather, it is a call to rise to a life that is lived with consciousness, ethics, and significance. Because of the simplicity and wisdom of Stoicism and minimalism, I hope that this journey will cause you to reflect, question, and open yourself up to the many possibilities that lay inside them. In the process of departing from the contemporary chambers of simplicity, let us go back in time to the world of ancient times, which is the origin of Stoicism. The Stoic school of philosophy is a school of thought that originated in Athens around the beginning of the 3rd century BC. At the Stoa Poikile, which is a painted porch, Zeno of Citium, the founder of the philosophy of Stoicism, imparted his knowledge to his students. This is the origin of the name of the philosophical system. Stoicism, on the other hand, rose to prominence in ancient Rome and became one of the most influential philosophical schools of thought throughout the time of the Roman Empire. Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius are considered to be the 3 most influential figures in the field of Stoic philosophy. Seneca, a Roman politician and writer, often discusses the ways in which Stoic principles might be used in daily life in the letters and works that he produced. The well-known Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born into slavery in the region that is now known as Turkey. Both the Enchiridion and the discourses that he wrote are significant books that provide helpful advice on how to lead a moral life. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled Rome as emperor, is frequently referred to as the philosopher king. This is not the least of his accomplishments. The Meditations, which are his most profound insights on principles of morality, responsibility, and the purpose of life, were written during his time spent serving in the military. Reason is the first concept that comes to mind when we go into the fundamental concepts that underpin Stoicism. Reasoning and logic were considered by the Stoics to be the most significant characteristics in the whole universe. There was a strong emphasis placed on the use of logic in order to comprehend and navigate the real world. It was believed that this logical process would lead to virtue and peace, since it presented individuals with the opportunity to make decisions that were in accordance with nature and moral goodness. Secondly, you have the ability to manage the manner in which replies take place. Stoics believe that there is a distinct boundary between the things that we are able to control and the things that we are not able to manage. We have complete control over our ideas, emotions, and actions, but we do not have any influence over the events that occur in the outside world. When we focus on the things that we are able to control and let go of the things that we are unable to manage, we are able to maintain our composure in the face of adversity. In the third principle, it is important to look for virtue as the greatest thing that might possibly occur. The virtues of temperance, courage, knowledge, and justice are included in the Stoic conception of virtue, in addition to moral excellence. A virtuous life that is lived in conformity with reason and nature, according to their point of view, is the key to pleasure and feelings of contentment. Consequently, how may this ancient concept be of assistance to us in the event that we are confronted with adversity? Stoicism encourages us to disengage from the chaos that surrounds us and to examine the world through the prism of reason in order to get an objective perspective. By acting in this manner, we will be able to avoid our emotions from clouding our judgment and behave in a manner that is in line with our principles. We are inspired to consider hardship not as a setback, but rather as an opportunity for personal development and intellectual advancement. To get to the current day, let's skip forward in time. Even though it is an ancient philosophy, the ideals that it contains are still applicable in today's world. When we live in a world that is getting more unpredictable and uncertain, Stoicism provides us with a strategy to navigate our way through the storms that we face. This theory serves as the foundation for cognitive behavioral therapy, a well-known treatment for mental health conditions. This therapy places an emphasis on the significance of being rational and taking responsibility for one's reactions. The ideals of Stoicism are also being used by leaders in the corporate sphere in order to make intelligent decisions and to promote resilience in their teams. People who are interested in personal development are provided with tools with which they may enhance their brains and live lives that are meaningful and honest via the application of this concept. By engaging in activities like writing, awareness, and contemplation, which assist individuals in living their lives in accordance with their principles, it is becoming a part of people's everyday lives. Stoicism, which originated in ancient Greece and Rome, is a philosophy that epitomizes the value of wisdom. Its primary concepts are rationality, the ability to regulate your reactions, and the pursuit of virtue. People are given the ability to live happiness and dignity as a result of these ideals. From the teachings of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius to the most recent developments in psychology and leadership, it may serve as a guide in a world that is always evolving. When we are gaining a deeper understanding of Stoicism, it is essential to keep in mind that it is not only a collection of rational ideas, rather, it is a rallying cry for action. It is a message to cultivate a mentality that is rational and good, to be aware of what we are able to manage, and to let go of what we are not able to control, and to see challenges as opportunities to progress as individuals. It's an invitation to live your life with knowledge and purpose at the same time. Now that we have gained a significant amount of knowledge on Stoic philosophy, we find ourselves at an intriguing intersection where Stoicism and simplicity meet. Both of these ideas, as we shall see in a moment, are about letting go, despite the fact that they emerged at different eras and in different ways. Letting rid of things that are too much, whether they are physical or mental, and creating a life that is meaningful, fulfilling, and in accordance with our values are all things that we would want to do. As we go further, we will investigate the ways in which these two ideologies interact with one another, as well as the ways in which they diverge, and how we might take advantage of them in our everyday lives. We are going to discuss the ways in which the simplicity and purpose of minimalism may be combined with the wisdom and virtue of Stoicism on the other hand. It is possible to mix these ideologies in order to establish a solid basis for a life that is not only clear and robust, but also of great significance. We should go on this path of exploration with an open mind and a strong desire to acquire new knowledge. We need to be prepared to call into question our beliefs, to break free from our long-standing routines, and to be open to new ways of doing things. Both the concept of simplicity and the philosophy of Stoicism encourage us to go on a journey that is not just about letting go, but also about discovering what it is that we should be clinging to. This voyage is significant not just in terms of ideas, but also in terms of feelings. It is being requested of each and every one of us to reflect on the decisions we are making, the lifestyles we are leading, and the principles that we are advocating for. In other words, it is a summons to let go of what is extraneous and choose what is essential, to put an end to the cacophony and select knowledge, to let go of what is fleeting and select what will endure from this moment forward. The way to a life that is not just lived, but cherished, not just survived, but valued, and not just brief, but significant, is one that adheres to the principles of minimalism and Stoicism. Let us take this journey together. During the course of our journey of discovery, we will encounter a moment when simplicity and Stoicism are standing next to each other. Despite the fact that they were developed hundreds of years apart, these two powerful ideas have a great deal in common while also exhibiting distinct distinctions. Let us now take a more in-depth look at the tapestry that they have put together. To begin, let's look at the things that they share in common. In the first place, both emphasize the need of striving to achieve simplicity and concentration. Those who adhere to the minimalist philosophy encourage us to simplify our lives by getting rid of items that aren't required and cleaning up our spaces. When it comes to our inner life, Stoicism encourages us to keep things straightforward by being reasonable and concentrating on the things that we have the ability to manage. In both of these schools of thought, we are instructed to get rid of things that aren't essential, so that we may concentrate on things that are. Getting rid of excess is the second item that they have in common with one another. Getting rid of items that do not contribute to the improvement of our lives is an essential component of the concept of simplicity. The practice of Stoicism involves letting rid of extraneous desires, feelings, and attachments that impede our pursuit of virtue and distort our judgment at the same time. The two schools of thought are in agreement that having an excessive amount of anything, whether it be mental turmoil or physical waste, may be a barrier to living a happy life. They both place an emphasis on being content on the inside, which is the third thing that they share in common. One of the lessons that we learn from the concept of minimalism is that pleasure does not come from possessing more stuff, but rather from living a life that has significance. Stoicism, on the other hand, maintains that pleasure is not derived from gaining praise or money from other people, but rather from living in accordance with nature and reason. Now, let's take a look at the items that change from one another. The way in which they are positioned within history and culture is the first distinction. Modern minimalism emerged as a response to the rise of consumerism and the accumulation of an excessive amount of possessions. The majority of its popularity was found in the Western globe. Nevertheless, Stoicism originates from ancient Greece and Rome. It was an intellectual response to the fact that people were looking for pleasure and morality in a world that was full of disorder. The reach and application of the second one are what set it apart from the first. The genuine aspects of our existence are the primary focus of the minimalist movement. It advises us to clean up our spaces and give some thought to the things that we purchase. Stoicism, on the other hand, examines not just our external circumstances, but also our interior thoughts, feelings, and character as well. What motivates each individual is the third distinction that may be made. Many individuals who practice minimalism have the goal of making their lives more open, free, and focused on what is important to them. The most important thing is to organize your space. Stoicism, on the other hand, is founded on moral philosophy. It pertains to the practice of taking care of one's character and soul. The Stoic is motivated by a feeling of obligation to pursue a life that is noble and in line with reason and nature. When we consider the ways in which the ideas are similar to one another and distinct from one another, we may see that they are similar to two sides of the same coin. Despite the fact that they both demonstrate to us how to live a life that is uncomplicated, focused, and joyful, they do it in different ways and with distinct means. To put it another way, you might think of minimalism as a method of navigating the actual world by reducing the amount of space we occupy and the responsibilities we pursue. Stoicism provides us with the direction that enables us to exercise virtue and wisdom in the management of our thoughts, feelings, and character as we navigate the waters that are found inside ourselves. Together, they produce something that is both strong and effective. It is possible for us to create a life that is not just clear and focused, but also profoundly meaningful and in accordance with our highest ideals if we combine the simplicity and concentration of minimalism with the wisdom and virtue of Stoicism. Let's not focus on choosing one philosophy over another. Rather, let's consider both of them to be helpful guides that complement one another. Stoic philosophy will serve as a compass that will direct us down a road that is authentic to who we are and what we hold dear. Let simplicity serve as the vessel that propels us from here to here. All right, let's pause for a second and think about this. Just for a second, give some thought to the locations we call home and the items we keep in our immediate vicinity. Does it make sense to have them, or are they simply a waste of space? Your focus should be directed within, and you should think about your ideas, feelings, and actions. When it comes to our concepts, do they align with our thoughts, or do they not align at all? As we pass by, let us carry with us the essence of the appeal for wisdom that Stoicism makes, as well as the demand for simplicity that minimalism makes. Let us use the approach of builders and meticulously create a life that satisfies our most fundamental need for pleasure and significance. It is the purpose of each of these ideologies to assist us in living a life that is uncomplicated and packed with the things that are significant, despite the fact that they originate from distinct sources and have different objectives. While minimalism encourages us to clean up the outer world, Stoicism encourages us to take control of the environment that we experience on the inside. It is at the intersection of these two that we discover a path that not only leads to simplicity or wisdom, but also to a life that is rich in significance. Due to the fact that we are now in the middle of these two mindsets, we possess the agency and the resources necessary to mold our path. It is a trip that is as different as each of us, yet we are all on the same route to a life that is more fulfilling and brings us greater happiness. It is not always simple to go on this journey. There are moments when you need to muster up the courage to let go. On the other hand, each step that we take down this path creates a fabric that is comprised of strands of simplicity, knowledge, purpose, and enjoyment coming together. As we go into the realm of practical application with our hearts and minds wide open, let us bring the fires of Stoicism and simplicity with us. The more we study about these ancient ideologies, the more we mix their concepts, and the more we learn from them, the better. We should go ahead with gratitude in our hearts as we move forward. Please accept our gratitude for the knowledge that has been handed down to us over the years, and for providing us with the opportunity to put it to use in our day-to-day lives. This part will discuss the real implementation of these ideologies, which will be discussed in the next article. In this session, we will discuss the many ways in which you may infuse Stoicism and simplicity into your day-to-day existence, so constructing a fabric that is not just clear and smart, but also profoundly significant. Many, many thanks. As we work our way through the complex web that is Stoicism and minimalism, one of the most important steps in our path is to incorporate these beliefs into our day-to-day lives. This is the point at which the theory is put into practice, and it is also the point at which we take the first steps toward leading a life that is more meaningful. To begin, let's have a conversation about how to put straightforward concepts into action in the actual world. Initially, you should clean up the room itself. You should examine the things that you possess and ask yourself if they fulfill a purpose or whether they provide you joy. You may wish to let them go if that is not the case. You are free to act at your own pace with this. Begin with a single room or perhaps just a single box. Then work your way as you go. Be conscious of the food and drink that you are ingesting. Before you make the purchase, you should give some thought to whether or not the item is significant to you and whether or not it aligns with your values. In other aspects of your life, such as relationships and duties, you may use this method of thinking to improve your understanding. Put quality ahead of quantity as the last but not least point. You should invest your money on things and people that will improve the quality of your life. This does not need imply spending money. It might also mean offering time and affection to the recipient. How can the Stoic philosophy be used to guide decisions and provide responses to various circumstances? To begin, you should focus on the dual nature of power. Consider what you are capable of managing and what you are not. Although you are unable to alter the events that occur around you, you are able to alter how you react to them and the decisions that you make. You should ask yourself what you can control when you are confronted with a crisis, and then focus your attention on those things. In the second step, you should reflect on your beliefs and base your decisions on them. To adhere to the Stoic philosophy, virtue is the most desirable outcome that may occur. Make the conscious decision to behave in a manner that is trustworthy, compassionate, and honest. In conclusion, make it a habit to consistently engage in self-reflection and awareness practices. While you are giving yourself some time to yourself, think on the actions, decisions, and feelings you have. Putting this habit into practice can help you become more rational and emotionally resilient. When it comes to our own personal development, how can we strike a balance between Stoicism and simplicity? It is essential that everything works together. Stimulate your environment with simplicity in order to support your ideas and aims, and cultivate a stoic, strong, and virtuous mindset via the practice of Stoicism. It is also essential to be aware that Stoicism and simplicity are not two distinct modes of thinking that are mutually exclusive. They may be altered to meet your requirements and objectives since they are adaptable. Maintain a steady pace, take baby steps, and be open to modifying your approach to things as you gain knowledge and experience. For your convenience, I will illustrate my point by providing you with some instances of genuine individuals who have successfully merged the two ideas. If you are interested in learning more about the minimalists, Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus, you should dig into their narrative. They were both dissatisfied with their business positions since they were full of things but did not provide them with any significance. Through the application of Stoic ideas and the practice of simplicity, they simplified their lives by focusing on the aspects of their life that were in their control and by aligning their lives with their ideals. As a further example, consider the businessman and author Tim Ferriss, who has been quite forthright about the ways in which Stoicism has altered his life and the choices that he makes. He has also adopted a minimalist lifestyle, concentrating his attention on the things and people in his life that are most important to him and are in accordance with his values. The combination of Stoicism and simplicity may be beneficial to your personal development and can help you derive greater meaning from your life. By reducing our external surroundings via the practice of minimalism and cultivating a strong and virtuous mentality through the practice of Stoicism, we may build a life that is not only devoid of clutter, but also rich in purpose and satisfaction. As we approach the conclusion of this section, I would want for you to pause for a minute and consider all of the aspects of simplicity and Stoicism that you find appealing. Please do not hesitate to consider how you might incorporate these concepts into your own life and how they can assist you in developing and achieving happiness. Stoicism and minimalism have a lot to offer in terms of knowledge and practicality. Let's continue the journey together and take advantage of what they have to give. These ideas have the potential to improve our lives in a variety of ways, including assisting us in letting go of things that aren't fundamental to our existence and providing us with a strong sense of purpose. On the other hand, before we go any further, let us acknowledge that the route to combining simplicity and Stoicism may be highly advantageous, but it is also not without its challenges. At times, we need to be willing to go outside of our comfort zones, as well as put in a lot of effort and attention. It is also essential to keep in mind that blending is not a destination, but rather a journey of development and transformation that never comes to a conclusion. As time goes on, our perspectives on these ideologies and the manner in which we apply them will evolve. There is no solution that is universally applicable, and we cannot claim that we have arrived at a state of simplicity or Stoicism. Throughout our whole lives, they are at our side as we work toward being completely human. While we are traveling along this path, let us not forget to treat ourselves with compassion and take our time, especially when it comes to changes that have an impact on how we live and think. It takes time to make adjustments. On occasion, we will trip and fall, and that is perfectly okay. Getting back up, gaining knowledge from these errors, and moving on with greater vigor and concentration is the most crucial thing that we can do. This journey is not going to be taken by any of us by ourselves. There are a great number of individuals who have followed a path that is comparable to this one, combining Stoicism with simplicity in order to discover a more profound purpose in their life. We may gain wisdom from their errors and find motivation in the tales they have to tell. Having the knowledge that we are not the only ones searching for purpose and pleasure may also be a source of solace for us. I am grateful to you as we go with our tour. In order to have a deeper understanding of the intricate ideas and religions of the East, let us travel through time and across continents. When it comes to those who are interested in living a life that is meaningful, the East has a lot to offer because of its thousands of years of history and ideas. Stoicism and simplicity are connected in a variety of different ways, which is an intriguing fact to consider. Let us investigate these wonderful parallels and identify the ways in which they might improve the quality of our lives. The concept of the middle road is considered to be one of the most significant notions in Buddhism. A route of balance and keeping away from extremes is supported by this philosophy, which is similar to saying that simplicity is very important. The middle method asserts that we are able to lead a life that is not only healthy, but also beneficial to our spiritual development, provided we refrain from engaging in either excessive spending or thrifty behavior. Additionally, the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Way are also components of the Buddhist religion. They assist individuals in living a life free of bonds, which is a notion that are consistent with Stoic principles. The Four Noble Truths provide an explanation of human suffering and the factors that contribute to it. On the other side, the Noble Eightfold Road recommends appropriate conduct, appropriate motivation, and appropriate awareness. When we speak about mindfulness, Buddhism has a long tradition of meditating and concentrating on the moment that is now occurring. These strategies are compatible with Stoic awareness since they serve to assist individuals in concentrating on the here and now and on what truly, genuinely matters. Two advantages of meditation are that it helps us to concentrate on our inner selves and that it allows us to let go of transient emotions. Let's discuss the Tao and Wu way when we speak about Taoism, shall we? Taoism is a philosophy that emphasizes naturalness, simplicity, and not acting, which are concepts that are comparable to those of that philosophy. It is not that Wu Wei implies not doing or not acting. It does not indicate that one is not doing anything at all. Rather, it signifies that one is behaving in line with the way things naturally flow. It is about living a life that is uncomplicated and doing things without thinking about them. Taoism places a significant emphasis on both yin and yang. In the natural world, they represent equilibrium and harmony. This sense of equilibrium is of utmost significance in Taoist thought. In addition, it is comparable to Stoicism and simplicity, both of which seek to achieve equilibrium in one's life and feelings for themselves. One last component is to live in harmony with the natural world. According to Taoism, individuals should strive to live in accordance with the Tao, which is the fundamental concept that from which all originates. A tight connection may be seen between this concept and the Stoic philosophy of living in harmony with nature in order to attain virtue and pleasure. Hinduism is yet another ancient Eastern religion that emphasizes the importance of adhering to Dharma and practicing simplicity. Another word for Dharma is the concept of moral duty. It is a method in which simplicity and concentration are of utmost significance. When you follow your Dharma, you are leading a life that is both moral and meaningful. This is comparable to the way that minimalists prioritize being attentive in their daily lives. According to Hindu philosophy, non-attachment is also a significant concept. The philosophy that underpins this, which is connected to the concept of Stoic detachment, encourages individuals to not let their transient emotions or their material possessions to prevent them from moving forward. Not only are yoga and meditation considered to be physical practices in Hinduism, but they are also considered to be techniques to discover more about oneself and to align oneself with one's inner principles. Thinking about oneself in a Stoic manner and linking yourself with reason and virtue are both experiences that are quite similar to this. In conclusion, let us discuss Confucianism, a philosophical school that has had a significant influence on the way people in the East think. Within the framework of Confucianism, The philosophy of the mean encourages moderation and equilibrium, which is analogous to the concept of simple concepts. According to Confucianism, the concepts of Ren, which refers to benevolence, and Li, which refers to ceremonies and appropriate conduct, are also highly significant. These concepts, which are about moral traits and how one should behave in public, are in accordance with the Stoic principles. In Confucianism, the concept of social harmony and the importance of relationships are also considered to be significant. This demonstrates how essential it is for Stoics to recognize that they are a component of a larger whole and to be actively engaged in the communities in which they live. Lastly, Stoicism and simplicity have a lot of similarities with Eastern faiths and philosophies. Stoicism is a kind of simplicity. Stoicism and minimalism are two approaches to life that are rooted in Eastern principles such as equilibrium, humility, attentiveness, and the absence of attachment to anything. It is possible for us to concentrate on the things that are essential for a happy existence if we adhere to the recommendations of both Eastern and Western philosophies. Eastern thought is particularly useful since it places a strong emphasis on personal development, societal harmony, and the interconnectedness of all forms of existence. There are some individuals who look to these teachings for profound knowledge, which may assist them in leading a life that is both happier and more meaningful. As we have seen, the philosophy of minimalism encourages us to get rid of things that aren't required and to place more importance on quality than quantity. The philosophy of Stoicism instructs us to think things through, to keep our emotions in control, and to see virtue as the greatest thing that could possibly occur. The vast array of teachings that are included within Eastern philosophies provide a lot of knowledge on how to live in peace with both ourselves and the natural world. During the course of your everyday life, give some thought to the ways in which you may combine these concepts. It is possible for you to adhere to the ethical principles of Hinduism, the practices of mindfulness from Buddhism, the simple deeds of Wu Wei from Taoism, or the social ideals from Confucianism. The combination of these elements, together with the straightforwardness of minimalism and the feeling that Stoicism provides, makes sense. Let's not consider these beliefs to be separate from one another. Rather, let's think of them as colors on a palette that we may use to paint our lives. We are able to bring together individuals of all ages and from all over the world via mutual comprehension and knowledge by incorporating concepts from both the East and the West. There are a number of instances that can be found in real life that may assist you in understanding. A great number of undiscovered celebrities have lives that are uncomplicated and full of virtue. They are content and contented not because they have a lot of things, but rather because they are aware of what is important in life. This merger is not a destination, but rather a journey. In accordance with the words of Lao Tzu, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. These words need to be yours. You may discover a middle ground by simplifying, reasoning, harmonizing, and finding your way via the process of taking what the East and the West have to say and finding your path. There is a possibility that continuing along this route may not always be simple. You may need to make concessions and difficult choices. In the end, however, it bestows upon us something that is irreplaceable, a life that is rich in purpose, enjoyment, and a profound connection with the world that surrounds us. Now that we have completed our journey through Eastern philosophies, Stoicism, and minimalism, let us take a time to reflect on the vast amount of knowledge that we have presented to you all along the way. The first thing that we did was educate ourselves on the history of minimalism and its core principles, which include keeping things simple, having a purpose, and prioritizing quality over quantity. We discussed some of the challenges and misconceptions associated with leading a frugal lifestyle, and we also discovered the many advantages of doing so, including the ability to maintain mental clarity, the flexibility to make financial decisions, and the protection of the environment. Stoic philosophy, which originates from ancient Greece and Rome, was the subject of our journey through time, during which we gained a deeper understanding of its most profound aspects. Stoicism enlightened us about the significance of reason, the ability to exercise control over our reactions, and the importance of virtue as the highest form of good via the works of thinkers such as Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus. In this session, we discussed the ways in which Stoicism may assist you in coping with misfortune, as well as the ways in which it continues to be relevant in modern times. At the following stop on our journey, we arrived at the location where Stoicism and simplicity come together. When it came to their pursuit of simplicity, concentration, and inner calm, we found that they had a powerful connection. However, there were also disparities in their historical context, breadth, and primary objectives that we observed. During our conversation, we discussed how the various philosophies may assist us in leading a life that is more meaningful by reducing the number of things that are not required in our lives. In addition, we discussed the ways in which we may incorporate Stoicism and simplicity into our day-to-day endeavors. We had a conversation on how simple concepts might assist us in not just cleaning up our physical spaces, but also our mental spaces. In addition to this, we discussed the ways in which the Stoic philosophy may be used to assist us in making choices and dealing with the events that occur in our environment. In the real world, we saw examples of individuals who have combined the two ideas in order to create better versions of themselves. Our trip did not come to an end there. Rather, it became more extensive as we traveled across the ocean to the eastern beaches. Stoicism and simplicity are two concepts that are shared by a number of Eastern religions and philosophies, and we took a look at some of these shared characteristics. We discovered a great number of beliefs that are compatible with Stoicism and minimalism. The middle way in Buddhism, Tao and Wu Wei in Taoism, Dharma in Hinduism, and the principle of the mean and Confucianism are some examples of their respective religious doctrines. I implore you to not let this be the conclusion of your research. On the contrary, let it be the beginning. As you go about your everyday tasks, give some thought to the ways in which you may apply the principles of Stoicism and minimalism. Explore a variety of options to see what works best for you, and don't be hesitant to modify them so that they better meet your requirements. Because there is no one solution that is effective for everyone, the path to a life that is both helpful and pleasant is as diverse as the individuals who live it. Constantly occurring are the processes of learning, unlearning, and relearning. It is a garden in which you may grow the seeds of knowledge that come from a variety of philosophical perspectives. When you show them that you care, they will develop into a life that is full, rich, and in accordance with the values and ideas that you hold dear. The goods that we purchase, the accolades that we get, and the societal standards that we use to evaluate our own growth are all things that are just transitory. This is a very crucial realization to have. In the long run, the pleasure and contentment that result from leading a life that is characterized by simplicity, morality, and purpose are those which last. Last but not least, let us continue to pass on the knowledge that has been handed down for thousands of years. Let's be the ones to illuminate the path for each other and for ourselves by carrying the torch. Experience the world and acquire new knowledge, but above all else, search for something of worth. It is my hope that your life will be like a well-written book, where the quality of the writing is more essential than the length of the book itself as you go ahead. You may write each page of your life with significance, pleasure, and contentment by using the principles of minimalism, Stoicism, and the wisdom of Eastern philosophies. As the great philosopher Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Let us continue to study, continue to develop, and most importantly, continue to pass through life with virtue serving as our anchor and knowledge serving as our guide. Please accept my gratitude for accompanying me on this journey. You need to have a path that is unmistakable, and your heart ought to guide you to a life that is significant and filled with complete joy. Located outside of Europe, it is safe to say that Marcus Aurelius is among the most influential figures in history, having left an indelible mark on both the realms of philosophy and leadership. His life was a living example of self-discipline and strength throughout his reign as Emperor of Rome. Stoicism was a philosophy that he committed himself to following. The purpose of today is to investigate his views in more depth, to investigate the manner in which he taught and demonstrated self-discipline throughout his life, and to discover ways in which we might put his teachings into practice in order to cultivate self-discipline in our own lives today. Stoicism is a school of philosophy that originated in ancient Greece and gained popularity throughout the period of the Roman Empire. Stoicism is founded on the ideals of this school of thought. Stoic philosophy gained widespread recognition as a result of the writings and teachings of Marcus Aurelius. Early Stoic thinkers, such as Epictetus and Zeno of Cithium, for instance, were responsible for making substantial contributions to the development of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism is a philosophical school that places an emphasis on the significance of self-discipline, personal virtue, and moral fortitude. There is a method to cope with the challenges that life throws at you, to manage and regulate your emotions, and to find peace in the midst of the turmoil that exists in the outer world. The Stoics believe that we have complete control over our own ideas, actions, and feelings, but that we do not have control over the events that occur in our immediate environment. The Stoic philosophy provides us with a profound comprehension of what it is to be human, as well as insights into the ways in which we are related to and influenced by the environment. It warns us to disregard things that we are unable to alter, and instead concentrate on those that we are able to modify and improve. The practice of Stoicism teaches us significant values such as wisdom, self-control, and justice, which guides us toward a life that is characterized by moral uprightness, change, and personal development. In the year 165 AD, when the Roman Empire was struck by a horrific disease known as the Antonine Plague, those who adhered to the Stoic philosophy were at their most devoted. The land was ruined, and a great number of people were slaughtered. The Roman Empire was thrown into a state of terror and disorder, and it was the source of one of the most severe depressions in human history. Through the application of his unwavering determination and the profound teachings of Stoic philosophy, Emperor Marcus Aurelius demonstrated remarkable leadership abilities at this time of crisis. Stoicness enabled him to cope with the challenges brought on by the disease, which in turn provided his people with a sense of security, bravery, and hope. It was believed that the Antonine Plague was an outbreak of measles or smallpox, but it really struck the Roman Empire with a power that had never been seen before. Through its rapid spread, the disease was able to destabilize the social and economic order of the empire, as well as instill fear in the populace due to the turmoil and uncertainty that it brought about. During the time that Aurelius was in command, he was aware that everyone needed a guiding light more than they ever had before in this period of upheaval. In order to acquire the knowledge and the inner fortitude that he needed in order to tackle the challenge, he resorted to the Stoic philosophy. The philosophy of Stoicism, which places an emphasis on embracing the challenges that life presents and maintaining virtue in the face of hardship and struggle, became Aurelius's guiding concept. Great Stoic thinkers like as Epictetus and Seneca, who thought that virtue alone is sufficient for happiness, taught him that true happiness and strength originate from inside one's mind, regardless of external circumstances. He learnt this from them. Through confronting the truth about the pandemic, Aurelius was able to fortify himself and demonstrate that he would not allow fear to take over. On the other hand, he concentrated on the aspects of himself that he could alter, such as his personality and the way he handled the issue. By adhering to the Stoic principles that he held dear, Marcus Aurelius served as a model for others to follow. The fact that he was able to maintain his composure in the face of excruciating circumstances and enormous challenges is evidence of his unwavering bravery and strength. In spite of the fact that it placed his health in continual danger, he exerted a great deal of effort to fulfill the requirements of his people, demonstrating compassion and thoughtfulness via his deeds. As he spoke to his people, he encouraged them to be courageous and to discover inner peace. Stoicism was the means by which he was able to discover meaning and purpose in the midst of chaos. He was aware that the disease presented him with an opportunity to better himself and to assist others in becoming more resilient. The circumstances served as a cautionary tale about how fleeting life is and how vital it is to lead a life that is characterized by virtue. By focusing on the fact that life is only transient, Aurelius encouraged his people to make the most of each and every moment, to prioritize virtue above material gain, and to cultivate an attitude of gratitude even when circumstances are difficult. Despite the great suffering caused by the Antonine epidemic, the Roman Empire was able to acquire a strength and consolation as a result of Aurelius' application of Stoic philosophy. Because to his leadership and power, the kingdom was finally able to recover and be restored to its former glory. In this day and age, the teachings that Aurelius imparted to us on Stoicism continue to be pertinent because they serve as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the capacity to discover inner peace even when circumstances are challenging. During the Antonine pandemic, the Roman Empire had its most difficult period. When Marcus Aurelius was confronted with this awful predicament, he resorted to the ageless knowledge that is found in Stoic philosophy by way of advice. Through the virtues of bravery, endurance, and wisdom, he inspired his people to endure the storm and reconstruct their lives when it had passed. Stoicism is a mode of thought that provides us hope by demonstrating that even in the most difficult of circumstances, individuals are able to triumph over adversity, maintain their optimism, and emerge victorious. The teachings that may be learned from Stoicism have remained relevant throughout the course of time and continue to provide insightful guidance to those who are interested in figuring out how to cope with the challenges that life presents. Some of the characteristics that are stressed include self-discipline, resilience, and others that assist individuals in coping with the challenges that they face on a daily basis, finding meaning in a world that is always evolving and overcoming obstacles. In this lesson, we will examine a number of significant ideas that may assist us in evaluating our lives, as well as the teachings of well-known Stoic thinkers that can assist us in applying the concept of Stoicism throughout our everyday lives. By gaining an understanding of Stoic philosophy, we may go on a path that will change our lives by bringing about self-discovery, inner serenity, and the pursuit of happiness. Marcus Aurelius, a well-known and influential philosopher, wholeheartedly adopted Stoicism as his guiding principle and lived his life in accordance with its principles. You are aware of this fact. Stoicism is a philosophical school that originated in ancient Greece and gained prominence throughout the Roman period. Stoicism places an emphasis on the cultivation of virtue and fortitude in the face of adversity. At its core, this philosophy is centered on the objective of achieving self-mastery via the cultivation of self-control and discipline. The revered Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius was the one who best exemplified the Stoic philosophy. His life was shaped by its teachings, and he used them to face the obstacles that he faced in his life with unwavering fortitude and profound insight. The practice of Stoicism inspires individuals to discover their own inner energies and to develop greater resilience. In addition to this, it ensures that everyone is treated in an equitable manner and helps individuals to develop a good character by practicing moderation and good judgment. The Stoics were also aware of the significance of persistence in the process of overcoming challenges encountered in life. People are able to take control of their brains and make certain that their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are always in accordance with their beliefs and goals when they adhere to Stoic ideals. Stoic philosophy, in its most fundamental form, offers a comprehensive framework for human growth and the pursuit of a life that is both ethical and vigorous. Sensitive creatures are often found among people. The emotions, ideas, and actions that we experience are all within our control. Nevertheless, we are not always able to anticipate what will occur. It is this concept of Stoicism that is at its core. According to Marcus Aurelius, the ability to exert control over one's own ideas and actions is the source of true strength. Through the cultivation of our own self-discipline, we are able to achieve this degree of inner power. In his well-known book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius is quoted as saying, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quotation encapsulates the principles of the Stoic philosophy, which hold that our internal condition should not be influenced by the external circumstances that we are experiencing. Instead of focusing our efforts on managing our moods and emotions, we should concentrate on doing so. The most severe challenges are often encountered by exceptional leaders during their reigns, and Marcus Aurelius, in his capacity as Emperor of Rome, was not an exception to this rule. During his tenure in office, he was confronted with a number of challenging challenges and setbacks that put his mental fortitude and dedication to the test. During his reign as Emperor of Rome, Aurelius was confronted with a multitude of challenging circumstances that demanded his undivided attention and a thoughtful approach. As a result of factors like civil instability, military conflicts, and unstable economics, the Roman Empire was in risk of losing both its riches and its security. He addressed these challenges with unwavering determination and a commitment to the welfare of his people, despite the fact that they were difficult. Throughout his reign, Aurelius shone an unrivaled capacity to recover from defeats and emerge victorious. Even when things were difficult, he was aware that being a leader required being steadfast in his commitments. He never lost up on the idea of discovering solutions that would safeguard the well-being of the empire, even if doing so meant losing wars or dealing with issues that were now occurring inside the empire. His leadership style was characterized by his capacity to persevere in spite of the fact that things were going wrong. Additionally, when things were difficult, he found that his spiritual views, particularly his practice of Stoicism, were of immense assistance to him. Stoicism instilled in him the ability to see opportunities for personal development and to maintain his dedication to virtue in the face of hardship. It placed an emphasis on developing one's inner fortitude and learning to accept circumstances that are beyond one's ability to control. Due to the fact that Aurelius used Stoic ideals in his leadership, he was able to maintain a Stoic attitude in the face of unsuccessful endeavors. The people around him were more robust as a result of this, and it motivated them. Even though he was confronted with enormous challenges, he never wavered in his dedication to the welfare of the people under his rule. While he was in power, his commitment to the pursuit of justice and the establishment of a decent government served as a driving force. He made a concerted effort to alleviate the concerns of his people by implementing several measures that not only made living more pleasant, but also benefited the health of the empire as a whole. Marcus's personal life served as a particularly good illustration of how effectively he was able to maintain his own self-discipline. Even when he was emperor, Marcus was known to be modest and to have an understanding that power and material possessions are something that are only ephemeral. Important aspects of his personal life were meditations and ideas that demonstrated he was continuously gaining knowledge and developing as a person. In addition to this, he was a guy of exceptional character, which aided him in making decisions and acting in certain ways. In addition to being a leader who had a great deal of power and knowledge, he also left behind a legacy of courage and compassion that will last for a very long time. The Stoic ideals that Marcus Aurelius demonstrated are constantly being investigated by the globe in the present day. At this very now, we may make use of some of these same ideals in order to become more self-disciplined. Self-discipline may be practiced in a number of ways, two of which are especially helpful: being consistent and criticizing yourself. It is possible for us to make it a routine to reflect on our principles and the reason we are here on earth each morning, just as Marcus Aurelius did. We will be able to observe how our actions and words correspond with those things with the aid of this. Daily exercise is a kind of physical discipline that not only improves our physical health, but also strengthens our ability to think clearly and rationally. Marcus was well aware of the profound connection that exists between the mind and the body, and he emphasized how vital it was to be mindful of both aspects. The practice of mindfulness is yet another effective method for cultivating self-discipline. Because we have trained ourselves to be completely present in every moment, we are better able to manage our moods and make choices that are in our best interests. Stoicism encourages people to practice gratitude and to make an effort to have a tranquil demeanor. When things are difficult, Marcus Aurelius believed that it is possible to develop inner strength and resilience by acknowledging the beauty that life has to offer, even in those times. By expressing gratitude on a daily basis and maintaining a sense of perspective, we may strengthen our character and become more powerful. Stoic philosophy, in conclusion, focuses a significant emphasis on the importance of society and relationships. Marcus was of the understanding that collaborating with others and assisting them in developing more self-discipline may prove to be of great assistance. It would be necessary to use the concepts of Marcus Aurelius in order to conduct an in-depth analysis of Stoic philosophy in relation to the cultivation of self-discipline in the contemporary society. The very first thing that should be taken into consideration is the fact that Marcus Aurelius talked a lot on how essential it is to have control over one's own thoughts. During the meditation, he discussed how the amount of control we have over our thoughts is directly proportional to the quality of our life and how essential it is to take responsibility for our thoughts. Marcus Aurelius believed that the only way to really be strong was to have the ability to govern not just our own brains, but also the thoughts that we chose to think. Our ideas, according to Marcus Aurelius, are the primary factor in determining our sentiments, emotions, and actions. He was aware of the fact that having negative or damaging ideas may cause us to suffer and will prevent us from enjoying our lives to the fullest. As a result of this, he advocated for the practice of mindfulness and self-awareness, encouraging individuals to become conscious of the cognitive processes that they engage in and to actively combat the ideas that they have that are not true. In order to exert control over our thoughts, we must maintain a state of constant alertness and discipline. The act of questioning the veracity of our ideas, altering the manner in which we think about negative narratives, and selecting more optimistic points of view are all necessities. In order to lead a life that is more fulfilling, we may do this by aligning our thoughts with the values of Stoicism and engaging in an internal dialogue that is founded on reason and virtue. Marcus Aurelius made use of the talent of writing in a journal, which was quite beneficial. Daily, he engaged in self-reflection and introspection in order to examine his ideas and feelings, with the goal of determining the origins of these feelings and the ways in which they influenced him. It was through this practice that he was able to see patterns in his style of thinking and alter his thoughts in a manner that resulted in more effective ones. Marcus Aurelius believed that we may become more robust in the face of hardship by exercising control over our thoughts during times of difficulty. He was aware of the fact that we are unable to alter the events that take place outside of use. Yet, we have the ability to choose how we would respond by concentrating our thoughts on gratitude, acceptance, and virtue. It is possible to discover inner serenity and strength regardless of the circumstances that are occurring. In today's environment, the practice of exercising control over our thoughts is still beneficial and significantly vital. In order to increase our health, endurance, and capacity to deal with the challenges that life throws at us, we need to acquire the abilities of being aware of our thinking patterns, having the ability to get rid of negative ideas, and developing optimistic perspectives. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of accepting what we are unable to change and concentrating on what we are able to alter, which are our actions and attitudes. This is the second point that the Stoic philosophy emphasizes. Those who adhere to the Stoic philosophy think that worrying about things that we are unable to alter leads to unwarranted tension and wrath. On the other hand, they suggest that we should direct our efforts on things that we have the ability to alter, such as our own choices, behaviors, and attitudes. If we are willing to accept that change and uncertainty are going to occur, we will be able to maintain our peace of mind and experience more flexibility. When we examine the Stoic principle with a critical frame of mind, we discover that the individuals we have the ability to influence are our greatest source of power. In order to develop, we need to concentrating on the things that we have the ability to alter and performing actions that are in accordance with our core beliefs. In the third place, Marcus was of the opinion that it was essential to formulate plans and goals that were in accordance with our principles. You must have a distinct vocation, aim, and purpose in life in order to have the ability to exercise self-discipline. When we are aware of our beliefs and ensure that they are in accordance with our objectives, we are able to make sound judgments and conduct effective actions. For the purpose of determining what is most important to us and providing us with direction as we confront the obstacles that life presents, setting objectives that are based on our values is beneficial. It assists us in making choices and actions that are in accordance with our authentic selves, which in turn provides us with a feeling of dignity and a sense of fulfillment in our mission. Because we have made our purpose crystal apparent and have established significant objectives, we are able to direct our efforts and actions towards self-discipline and personal development. Many, many thanks. According to Marcus Aurelius, one of the most essential components of developing self-discipline is the acquisition of the ability to exercise self-control. He was of the opinion that in order to cultivate inner strength and personal development, it was necessary to take responsibility for our desires, impulses, and feelings. We are able to learn to wait for what we want, to say no to temptations, and to make choices that are in accordance with our values and our long-term objectives when we have the ability to exercise self-control. When you exercise self-control, you are not denying yourself pleasure. Rather, you are focusing on making choices that will ultimately lead to your happiness and help you develop as a person over time. Marcus Aurelius was aware of this fact. By engaging in self-control exercises, we strengthen our resolve and commitment to the path of self-discipline that we have chosen. It was brought to Marcus's attention that the development of resilience is an essential component of the Stoic philosophy. Stoicism instills in us the ability to see the challenges and setbacks that we encounter in life as opportunities to learn and develop, rather than as reasons to be terrified of them. In the context of this discussion, the term resilience refers to the capacity to triumph over challenges and difficulties while simultaneously experiencing a sense of inner strength and stability. People are more likely to be resilient, according to Marcus, if they adopt a mindset that acknowledges the fact that life is changeable and unpredictable. Stoics are aware that we are unable to alter the uncontrollable events that occur in our lives, but we are able to alter the way in which we respond to those actions inside ourselves. In the process of coming to terms with the fact that things will change and that the world is uncertain, we develop the kind of inner strength that enables us to weather the storm with composure and strength. One of the aspects of Stoicism that is considered robust is the ability to see failures and errors as chances for personal development. Rather than seeing obstacles as obstacles to be conquered, Stoics view problems as opportunities to put characteristics as bravery, tenacity, and patience into active practice. When we acknowledge that challenges are a natural part of our path, we develop the resilience to deal with the highs and lows that life brings. By concentrating our efforts on things that are within our power to influence, we may improve our mood. When we don't let the circumstances of the outer world to dictate how we feel, we develop more resilience. Because of this resilience, we are able to maintain our inner calm and tranquility in spite of the challenges we face. Accepting the imperfections of life, seeing failures as opportunities for personal development, and focusing on the aspects of our lives that we have the ability to influence are all components of the Stoic concept of creating resilience. In order to help us build self-discipline and understand how vital it is to live a life that is both virtuous and enjoyable, let's take a look at 3 significant lessons that can be learned from Marcus Aurelius's most important book, Meditations, before we get to the conclusion of this video. This is the first lesson, and it is about the power of the present moment. In the book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius is quoted as saying, "Do not bother yourself by picturing your life as a whole. Do not gather in your mind the many and varied troubles which have come to you in the past and will come again in the future. But ask yourself, with regard to every present difficulty, what is there in this that is unbearable and beyond endurance?" This profound statement encapsulates the essence of what it means to be in the present moment. Self-discipline is something that we often struggle to achieve, since our minds are always preoccupied with regrets from the past or fears about the future. In this passage, Aurelius demonstrates how vital it is to pay attention to the here and now. We are able to learn control and discipline in our immediate actions by doing so, which allows us to break down activities that seem to be overwhelming into bits that are more manageable. Self-discipline is built on the foundation of paying attention to the here and now, which enables us to carry out acts that are both significant and ethical without getting sidetracked by distractions. The second lesson is to detach oneself from the validation of others. Marcus Aurelius had a keen awareness of the fleeting nature of fame, as well as the views contained inside the opinions of others. The author stated, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinions of himself than on the opinions of others." This remark sheds light on the human propensity to seek validation and acceptance from the outside world, which often comes at the price of our own beliefs and integrity. In order to achieve self-discipline, it is necessary to distance oneself from the external approval that is being sought. Instead, we need to concentrate on developing our own internal virtues and following our own internal moral compass. Rather than allowing ourselves to be persuaded by the ever-evolving views of others, we are able to make judgments and perform actions that are in accordance with our beliefs when we have this inner-directed concentration. By doing so, we are able to construct a solid foundation of self-discipline, which is founded on self-respect and personal integrity. Ability to adapt and acceptance is the third lesson. The phrase, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way," is one of the most famous statements from the book Meditations. This remark exemplifies the qualities of adaptation and acceptance, which are strongly related with self-discipline. It is through Marcus Aurelius that we learn that difficulties and problems are not only something to be endured, but rather that they can be converted into chances for personal development and education. Having the capacity to modify our behaviors and attitudes in response to the problems that we encounter is an essential component of self-discipline. We may choose to accept the challenges as chances to practice virtue, to learn, and to develop, rather than to fight against them or to bemoan them. In addition to assisting in the development of self-discipline, this frame of mind also contributes to the development of resiliency and a profound feeling of happiness. The book Meditations, written by Marcus Aurelius, has a wealth of understanding that may be used to develop self-discipline. The cultivation of a sort of self-discipline that is profoundly rooted in knowledge and virtue may be accomplished by concentrating on the here and now, distancing ourselves from the need for external validation, and embracing flexibility and acceptance. Self-discipline is not only about exercising control, rather, it is about leading a life that is purposeful, meaningful, and fulfilling, regardless of the circumstances that are occurring in the outside world. We have the ability to create self-discipline in our contemporary life if we adopt the fundamental principles of Stoicism, which include self-mastery, acceptance, and resilience. Marcus Aurelius held the belief that the first step in achieving self-mastery is to acquire control over our various ideas and feelings. Maintaining a feeling of serenity and clarity is possible for us if we actively observe and guide our inner world. This allows us to influence our reactions to events that occur in the outside world. Acceptance is yet another essential component in the process of developing self-discipline. In accordance with Aurelius's philosophy, the cultivation of resilience may be accomplished by recasting failures as chances for personal development. We are able to cultivate the fortitude and tenacity that are essential to tackle adversity with unshakable resolve if we regard the challenges that we experience as stepping stones on our path. Maintaining a feeling of inner calm and stability, even in the face of chaotic or unpleasant situations, is another aspect of resilience. We may adopt Aurelius's practical tactics into our lives in order to develop our own sense of self-discipline for ourselves. Establishing regular routines, participating in physical discipline, practicing mindfulness, expressing appreciation, and cultivating social support are all activities that contribute to our growth and development. By adhering to the ideas that Marcus Aurelius outlined, one might ultimately live a life that is more disciplined and satisfying. We have the ability to cultivate the courage and fortitude necessary to navigate through the problems that life presents with self-control. We are standing at the intersection of history and philosophy, and the figure of Marcus Aurelius is towering over us, casting a lengthy shadow that has endured the sands of time. It is the necessity of self-discipline that serves as a beacon, a guiding light that may take us through the storm in a world that is often chaotic and always changing. Taking into consideration the teachings of Aurelius and other historical figures, self-discipline is not only a characteristic, but rather an art of life. The self-discipline that we possess serves as the compass that guides us through the waters of life. It serves as both the anchor that keeps us stable in the midst of storms and the sails that encourage us to go onward. It is through self-discipline that we are able to achieve control over ourselves, which in turn leads to a more profound comprehension of the world around us and a more active participation with it. Many, many thanks. According to Epictetus, it is not the events themselves that disturb people, rather, it is their judgments concerning them. Imagine living in a world where your happiness is no longer determined by the circumstances of your life, where you have total control over your feelings, and where you are able to find calm even in the middle of things that are chaotic. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that has been guiding countless people along the path of personal development and satisfaction for centuries. We would like to welcome you to the realm of Stoicism. The wisdom of Epictetus, a former slave who later became a philosopher and whose life was changed by the force of Stoic contemplation, is at the core of this philosophical system. Today, we are going to delve into the teachings of this remarkable individual and find the top 10 lessons that can be learned from his well-known composition, the Enchiridion. Around the year 50 AD, Epictetus was born in Phrygia, which is now also known as Turkey. The fact that he was born into slavery did not prevent him from rising above his circumstances and becoming one of the most prominent Stoic thinkers in the history of the world. When he was a slave, he was held by a high-ranking Roman official who noticed his intellectual aptitude and gave him permission to study philosophy. Musonius Rufus, a notable Stoic instructor in Rome, finally became Epictetus's teacher, and Epictetus subsequently became one of his students. After he was finally able to escape his captors, he started teaching philosophy in Rome, where his fame shot up almost immediately. In contrast, Epictetus was compelled to leave Rome in the year 89 AD, when the Roman Emperor Domitian ordered the expulsion of all philosophers from the city. Nicopolis, Greece, became his safe haven, and it was there that he created a philosophical school that drew pupils from all across the Roman Empire. His teachings were documented by one of his followers, Arrian, who combined them into two primary works, the Discourses and the Enchiridion. The Enchiridion, which is often referred to as the handbook or manual, is a summarization of Epictetus's most important teachings in a condensed form. It offers helpful ideas on how to overcome the problems and uncertainties that are a part of our existence, making it a practical guide to leading a life of virtue. The primary tenet of the Stoic philosophy is that while we are unable to control the environment around us, we do have the ability to influence how we respond to it. We are able to maintain our composure and calmness in the face of hardship for as long as we cultivate our inner strength, knowledge, and resilience. This may be accomplished by concentrating on our own actions and ideas, rather than allowing ourselves to be influenced by the views of others or by the situations that surrounding us. This video will take a deep dive into the top 10 teachings that can be found in the Enchiridion. We will investigate the timeless knowledge and counsel that has been passed down from generation to generation. You, too, have the ability to experience the transformational force of Stoicism and to unleash your potential for personal development and self-improvement if you comprehend and put into practice these lessons. As we set out on our adventure through the Enchiridion, it is important to keep in mind that the words of Epictetus are not only theoretical concepts or ideas, rather, they are useful instruments that may be used in your day-to-day life. You will be able to construct a solid foundation for your own personal growth and create a life that is more meaningful and rewarding if you accept these teachings and make them a part of your daily routine. The first lesson is to make a distinction between things that are within our control and those that are not. Epictetus in the Enchiridion is credited for articulating one of the fundamental concepts of Stoic philosophy, which is the notion that we need to concentrate our efforts on the things that are within our control and accept the things that are not under our control. This idea, which is both simple and potent, has the potential to have a significant influence on our general happiness and contentment with life. Epictetus were of the opinion that our ideas, beliefs, and acts are all within our control, but the natural world, the actions of other people, and the events that occur in the outside world are not. When we are able to see this difference, we are able to prevent ourselves from experiencing tension, worry, and disappointment that is not essential. For the sake of illustrating this topic, let's look at an example. Take, for example, that you are getting ready for a significant employment interview. You have devoted many weeks to learning about the organization, become familiar with your replies, and honing your abilities. However, on the day of the interview, you arrive late due to a significant traffic congestion, and as a result, you are unable to take advantage of the chance. Epictetus would advise us to concentrate on the things that we are able to control, despite the fact that it is natural to feel furious and unhappy in this circumstance. It is not possible for us to alter the traffic or the fact that we were unable to attend the interview, but we are able to influence how we react to the issue. Rather of dwelling on the opportunity that was lost, we have the option of gaining knowledge from the event, modifying our strategy, and carrying on with our job hunt with a greater level of determination. It is possible for us to cultivate a deeper feeling of inner calm and resolution in the midst of the challenges that life presents if we put this lesson into practice. When we acknowledge the inherent unpredictability of the world and direct our attention to the aspects of our life that we have the ability to affect, we give ourselves the ability to cultivate a mindset that is open to change and adaptability. In this manner, we are able to navigate the highs and lows of life with ease and calm, making the most of every circumstance and maintaining our equilibrium in the face of hardship. The second lesson is to accept the events that occur in life and to embrace the concept of destiny. The concept of accepting one's destiny and learning to appreciate the natural sequence of events that occur in one's life is yet another significant lesson that may be learned from the Enchiridion. Stoicism is a philosophical school that holds that the universe operates in accordance with a logical order, and that everything that occurs is a component of this cosmic design. We may cultivate a peaceful attitude and learn to embrace the experiences that life has to offer, whether they are pleasant or negative, if we have a grasp of the concept of destiny. The act of accepting one's destiny does not imply that one should passively accept whatever comes our way. On the contrary, it compels us to concentrate on the things that we are able to control and cultivate the wisdom to accept and react to the circumstances that we are unable to alter. We are able to discover a sense of tranquility and significance in even the most trying circumstances if we do this. Consider this scenario. You have been putting together plans for a vacation for many months, and you are looking forward to taking a break that you have earned. Unfortunately, you take unwell only a few days before your journey, and as a result, you are unable to fly. Despite the fact that it is natural to have feelings of anger and frustration, Epictetus would teach us that our health is mostly beyond our ability to control. We are able to keep ourselves from getting overpowered by bad feelings if we are willing to accept the circumstance and are open to the concept of destiny. To put this into practice, it may mean putting our attention on our health, making use of the unexpectedly large amount of free time to catch up on personal tasks, or spending quality time with the people we care about. We may transform a scenario that seems to be negative into an opportunity for personal development and progress if we shift our perspective and look for the positive aspects of the circumstance. We may cultivate a feeling of calmness in the face of the obstacles that life presents to us by having the ability to learn to accept destiny and to embrace the natural order of the world. If we approach each circumstance with an open heart and a willingness to adapt, we will be able to discover something of value and delight in any circumstance, regardless of what may occur. Living a life that is better and more gratifying may be accomplished by being open to change and embracing what is already there. Having the goal of living a good life is the third lesson. Epictetus is credited with writing about the Enchiridion, which belongs to the Stoic philosophical tradition. It asserts that exercising virtue is the single most essential thing that one can do in their lifetime. In this context, the word virtue refers to qualities such as spiritual grandeur and personal development. According to Epictetus, a life that is dedicated to virtue is not only beneficial in and of itself, but it also results in genuine pleasure and contentment. The Stoics held the belief that there are four primary qualities, which are temperance, bravery, wisdom, and justice. By putting these principles into practice on a daily basis, we may not only better ourselves, but also create a positive impact on the world over. In order to demonstrate how this lesson may be used, let's have a look at an example. Imagine that you come across a wallet on the street that has a significant amount of cash, as well as the identification of the person who possesses it. In order to live a good life, it is necessary to return the wallet to the person who originally had it, despite the fact that it may be tempting to retain the money. You are putting the principles of justice and wisdom into practice because you ensure that other people are treated with respect, and because you are aware of how vital it is to be truthful and to have integrity. When we consistently choose to behave in a morally upstanding manner, especially when faced with challenging situations, we develop our character and strengthen our moral sense over time. It is possible that making these decisions may bring you a great deal of enjoyment, respect for yourself, and admiration from other people. Building a solid foundation for long-term enjoyment and personal development may be accomplished by prioritizing virtue above material possessions or the acceptance of other people. One of the most important things to take away from the Enchiridion, and a fundamental principle of Stoic philosophy, is the importance of living a good life. By striving toward the development of moral greatness and supporting the virtues of knowledge, bravery, justice, and temperance, we may better our lives and make a positive influence in the world. It is possible to enjoy the genuine pleasure and contentment that Epictetus believed might be attained by a life of virtue if one adopts these principles. A fourth lesson is to let go of material things and events that occur outside of oneself. Throughout the Enchiridion, Epictetus emphasizes the need of maintaining a sense of autonomy from the objects and circumstances that are external to oneself. According to Stoic philosophy, our pleasure and well-being should not be dependent on external factors on account of the fact that these external factors are subject to change throughout time and are beyond our ability to control. As an alternative, we need to focus on cultivating inner fortitude and self-sufficiency, as well as finding enjoyment in both our actions and our thoughts. It is possible for us to let go of the desire for acceptance from other people and the fear of losing something, both of which may bring us unneeded tension and sorrow. This can be accomplished via the practice of detachment. This does not imply that we should give up our possessions or our relationships. Rather, it suggests that we should maintain a healthy perspective and be aware that these things and connections are not the source of our pleasure. Let's have a look at an example with me to illustrate what I mean. Consider how much effort you put in to develop a successful career and how much money you have at this point in your life. Epictetus said that you should strive to avoid being too connected to the external manifestations of achievement, despite the fact that you may feel pleased and delighted about what you have accomplished. Instead of that, he would advise you to focus on your own personal values and ideals, since he believes that they are the true sources of pleasure that will last forever. One way to put what you've learned into practice in the actual world is to be grateful for what you already possess, while also being conscious of the fact that things will evolve over time. Another thing that you may do to maintain a fair perspective on the worth of wealth is to engage in acts of kindness, such as donating to charitable organizations or volunteering your time. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the need of separating oneself from material objects and events that occur outside of oneself. This is a significant lesson that may be learned from the Enchiridion. It is possible for us to discover inner serenity and strength through the cultivation of this style of thinking, which will ultimately result in a life that is more meaningful and gratifying. Self-discipline and taking responsibility for one's actions are the fifth and final goal. According to Stoic philosophy, self-discipline and self-control are essential components of a life that is characterized by virtue, and this is the sixth lesson that the Enchiridion has to provide on these essential qualities. Epictetus believed that it was necessary to exercise self-control over one's desires and impulses in order to maintain mental peace and make progress in one's personal life. Being able to say no to short-term pleasures in favor of long-term rewards, and being able to manage how you respond to things that are happening around you are both examples of actions that fall under the category of self-discipline and self-control. As a result of the fact that it liberates us from being enslaved by our impulses and allows us to live according to our fundamental principles, this practice may be considered a sort of personal liberation. Consider the concept of leading a good life as an example. There are times when you may feel the need to indulge in unhealthy meals or to forego physical activity in favor of less strenuous pursuits. On the other hand, if you possess self-discipline, you will be able to resist these cravings for the short term and prioritize your health and well-being for the long run. Creating nutritious meals, engaging in regular physical activity, and ensuring that you receive sufficient amounts of sleep are all instances of this. The implementation of this lesson into practice requires consistent effort, but the advantages are substantial. If you focus on developing your self-discipline and self-control, you will be able to make better decisions, achieve your objectives in a shorter amount of time, and live a life that is more healthy and enjoyable. We have the ability to exercise control over our desires and behaviors, which will allow us to experience the freedom and pleasure that comes from living in accordance with our core beliefs and ideals. You may overcome your fears and worries by concentrating on logical thought, as discussed in the sixth lesson. In the sixth lesson of the Enchiridion, the author emphasizes how important it is to think clearly in order to overcome anxiety and dread. Epictetus believed that one of the primary causes of many of our negative feelings is the existence of incorrect concepts and assumptions. Through the process of analyzing these ideas and replacing them with more rational ones, we may prevent unnecessary suffering and create a more positive mental state for ourselves. One of the most effective methods to do this is to call into question our thoughts and beliefs, particularly when they cause us to feel uneasy. When we are able to identify the irrational beliefs that are the source of our anxieties and concerns, we are able to challenge those beliefs and replace them with concepts that are more rational. Let's imagine, for instance, that you are really anxious about delivering a speech in front of an audience. Do you have any input? It is probable that your dread stems from the unreasonable belief that others will laugh at you and condemn you if you make a mistake or stumble over your words. This is maybe the source of your worry. You may convince yourself that everyone makes errors and that others generally won't be too harsh on you if you exercise common sense. This would be an accurate statement. It is also possible for you to comprehend that your value as a person is not dependent on a single accomplishment. If you replace your irrational beliefs with ones that are more sensible, you will be able to experience less anxiety and a greater sense of comfort in the situation. Keeping one's attention on the here and now and refraining from dwelling on the negative events that may occur is yet another method for managing stress. A significant portion of the time, our anxieties and fears originate from imagining the worst possible outcomes that may occur. It is possible for us to cope with these negative ideas more successfully and maintain a more tranquil state of mind if we remind ourselves to keep our attention in the present now and focused on the task at hand. Using clear thinking, the sixth lesson from the Enchiridion teaches us how to overcome fear and concern and go on with our lives. If we examine our erroneous ideas and concentrate on the here and now, we will be able to maintain a more stable mindset and deal with the challenges that life throws at us with more clarity and self-assurance. Seventh lesson, showing compassion and empathy to other people. In the seventh lesson of the Enchiridion, the emphasis is placed on the significance of demonstrating compassion and understanding toward other individuals. According to Epictetus, in order to lead a life that is distinguished by virtue, we must first recognize our shared humanity and then demonstrate respect for other people. Due to the fact that we are all interconnected, Stoic philosophy believes that we need to collaborate in order to assist one another in our journey toward enlightenment and personal growth. Engaging in active listening and demonstrating a genuine interest in understanding the thoughts and emotions of other individuals is one approach to put what you've learned into practice. It is possible that this manner of doing things may assist us in better understanding their problems and points of view, which will ultimately lead to more understanding and stronger connections. Think of a scenario in which a buddy is going through a difficult moment and they share their problems with you. It is possible to demonstrate empathy by verifying the sentiments of the other person and acknowledging the difficulties they are experiencing rather than offering assistance or attempting to solve their issues. If you demonstrate that you care about them and that you understand what they are going through, you will be able to provide them with the support and assistance they need to get through their challenges. Another component of being kind and understanding to other people is being conscious of the impact that our words and actions may have on the people in our immediate environment. Despite the fact that there are instances when we may not agree with or comprehend the perspective of another individual, we can nevertheless make an effort to be courteous, helpful, and understanding. Through the promotion of compassion and peace, this practice has the potential to contribute to making the world a better place for everyone. In the seventh lesson of the Enchiridion, the topic of how vital it is to treat other people with kindness and understanding is discussed. It is possible for us to cultivate deeper connections and make the world a better place if we consistently listen to one another, acknowledge the experiences of others, and show concern for how they are feeling. As a consequence of this, we exhibit the Stoic ideals of wisdom, moderation, and justice, all of which are advantageous to our own well-being and development. Take the input you get to heart, and do not let the opinions of other people to lead you to modify your viewpoint. When it comes to learning from feedback, the eighth lesson from the Enchiridion emphasizes the need of maintaining a safe distance from the views of other individuals. Epictetus believed that it was essential to examine feedback in a critical manner and differentiate between constructive and criticizing remarks whenever possible. By acting in this manner, we will be able to develop and improve without being brought down by the judgments of other people. To put this lesson into practice, you should begin by maintaining an open mind and a questioning nature when you get feedback. Being conscious of the fact that feedback might assist you in developing and bettering yourself is essential. Whenever you get feedback, it is important to consider where it originated, what it is about, and whether or not there is a genuine point or a lesson that can be gleaned from it. For instance, if a colleague provides you with constructive criticism on a project that you are working on, you should not get furious. Instead, give yourself some time to reflect on what they said without passing judgment on what they said. In the event that their feedback is beneficial and may assist you in improving the quality of your work, you should express gratitude to them and adjust your work accordingly. On the other hand, if the feedback does not seem to be fair or helpful, you should acknowledge their point of view and then let it go without allowing it to have a negative impact on your estimation of yourself. Additionally, it is essential to keep in mind that the opinions of other people do not precisely characterize your value or abilities. Being emotionally stable and not allowing the views of other people to influence you may be accomplished by developing a high level of self-awareness and having trust in the values and capabilities that you possess alone. In the 8th lesson of the Enchiridion, we are instructed to consider the significance of learning from criticism while simultaneously disregarding the opinions of other individuals. We may utilize feedback to develop and better ourselves while maintaining a healthy feeling of self-worth and mental strength if we approach it with an open mind and an objective perspective. Developing your capabilities to deal with difficulties is the topic of Lesson 9. Building for adversity resistance is emphasized in the 9th lesson of the Enchiridion, which discusses the importance of doing so. The philosopher Epictetus held the belief that difficulties and setbacks are an inevitable component of life, and that it is essential for our personal development and well-being that we be able to adapt to these circumstances and persevere through them. It is possible to become more resilient by adopting a growth mindset, which includes seeing setbacks as opportunities to improve oneself and acquire new knowledge about the world. When we reframe challenges as chances to learn new things and get fresh perspectives, we are able to have a positive mindset even when we are confronted with situations that are challenging. Do you have any reason to believe that you were fired without prior notice? You may learn how to be resilient by seeing the situation as an opportunity to try new things in your profession, gain new skills, or pursue your interests that you might not have had time for in the past. This can help you avoid giving up or feeling like a failure. If you maintain a growth mindset, you may turn adversity into an opportunity to build something greater out of your life. As part of the process of becoming more robust, we must also acquire the ability to manage our emotions when unfortunate events occur. As Epictetus put it, it is essential to differentiate between the events that take place and the emotions that we experience in response to them. It is possible for us to better regulate our reactions and maintain our composure and stability even when circumstances get challenging if we have the understanding that our thoughts and beliefs are the primary factors that determine our feelings. The 11th and last lesson from the Enchiridion highlights the value of developing the ability to persevere in the face of hardship. Having a growth mindset and being able to keep our emotions under control may assist us in overcoming the challenges that life throws at us and continuing to develop and flourish. A significant component of the Stoic philosophy and an essential component of leading a happy life is the capacity to adapt to new circumstances and persevere in the face of adversity. The 10th lesson is that in order to better yourself, you need reflect on your own words and deeds. When it comes to personal development and improvement, the 11th lesson from the Enchiridion emphasizes the significance of focusing on one's own thoughts and perspectives. By continually examining our thoughts, behaviors, and the reasons behind our actions, Epictetus believed that we may get a deeper understanding of who we are and make an effort to behave in a manner that is in line with our fundamental beliefs and values. An effective technique to engage in self-reflection is to schedule time each day to ponder and concentrate on various aspects of one's life. Throughout this exercise, we could reflect on the things that went wrong throughout the day, the situations in which our principles may have been put to the test, and the ways in which we might improve our performance in the future. We may become more conscious of what we are doing and continue to work toward improving ourselves if we maintain a regular practice of thinking about ourselves. You may, for instance, set aside a few minutes at the end of each day to reflect on the ways in which you connected with other people, the ways in which you responded to events that occurred in the outer world, and any internal problems that you may have had. While you are reflecting on these occurrences, you should ask yourself whether the actions you took were consistent with your core values, such as being truthful, caring, or having ethics. If you are able to identify ways in which you might have behaved differently, you should make use of this knowledge to direct your behavior in the future. Another essential component of self-reflection is the process of recognizing and challenging any negative thinking patterns or limiting beliefs that may be preventing you from moving forward. If you become aware of these mental obstacles and make an effort to replace them with concepts that are more beneficial, you may assist yourself in growing and making changes that are both long-lasting and beneficial. The 11th lesson from the Enchiridion discusses the significance of self-reflection as a form of personal development and improvement, and how powerful it can be. If we take the time to examine our thoughts and behaviors on a regular basis and make an effort to ensure that they are in accordance with our fundamental principles, we may develop a deeper awareness of who we are and lead a life that is more authentic and fulfilling. There is a great deal that we can all learn from the Stoic philosophy, which places a significant emphasis on introspection and self-awareness. As we draw to a close on this illuminating journey through Epictetus's top 10 teachings, we are reminded of the ageless wisdom and practical insights that the Enchiridion provides for us. In the beginning, we realized how essential it is to be aware of the distinction between the things that we are able to manage and those that we are not. Because of this, we were able to discover inner calm in a world that is sometimes fraught with uncertainty. In the following conversation, we discussed the significance of accepting life's events and destiny with grace, as this may assist you in maintaining your strength and composure in the face of many challenges. Additionally, we gained the profound realization that it is possible for us to lead a life that is characterized by self-discipline, knowledge, and compassion. We were able to learn how to detach ourselves from things and events that were external to us so that we might experience happiness and fulfillment on the inside. In the lessons that we learned about self-control and discipline, as well as how to treat other people with compassion and understanding, we were reminded of the fundamental concepts that are central to Stoic philosophy. We were able to overcome our anxieties and phobias by using logic and reason in our learning process. We gained the ability to challenge our erroneous beliefs and transform them into alternatives that are more rational. We learned how vital it is to absorb criticism without allowing it to influence how we feel about ourselves, due to the fact that we live in a society that places a high value on approval from others. We were able to cultivate a favorable feeling of self-worth and mental fortitude as a result of this. For the purpose of being resilient in the face of adversity, the 9th lesson stressed the need of having a growth mindset and regulating your emotions in order to learn how to be resilient. In conclusion, we were instructed to continue to reflect on ourselves and to make an effort to ensure that our actions were consistent with the values that we hold dear. In addition, they advised us to make an effort to better ourselves at all times. I want you to keep these lessons in mind and consider how you may use them in your day-to-day life as we continue. It is important to keep in mind that Stoicism is more than simply a philosophical approach to contemplate. It is a way of life that one should take. Putting these teachings into practice may have a significant impact on how you see things, the people you contact with, and the overall quality of your life when you put them into practice. Epictetus, who is considered to be one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, became famous after having been a slave in the past. It is still possible for us to sense the force of his teachings as we read through the Enchiridion. These teachings provide us with the practical knowledge that we need in order to cope with the problems that life presents in a world that is always changing. Epictetus's philosophy is still a dependable source of knowledge because it contains counsel that has stood the test of time and teaches how to live a life that is filled with calm, virtue, and happiness. As our time together draws to a conclusion, may this serve as a roadmap for a life that is characterized by intelligence, fortitude, and virtue. Epictetus offered the following advice: "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you take these teachings to heart, adhere to the Stoic way of life, and you will enter a world that is filled with calm, understanding, and continuous progress. One of the most well-known Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, Marcus Aurelius, is often referred to as the Philosopher King. He suffered through a lot of difficult times, including political instability and the loss of loved ones, despite the fact that he was one of the most prominent persons in the world at the time. While he was dealing with these issues, he decided to write Meditations, a book that is very personal and reflective, as a means of bettering himself and his way of thinking. Numerous individuals have been affected and directed over the course of many years by this well-known book, which is comprised of his own ideas and perspectives on how to live a life that is both ethical and fulfilling. The society we live in is characterized by rapid change and a high degree of ambiguity, making it more vital than ever before to possess the qualities of resilience and inner strength. A great deal of change is always occurring in our day-to-day lives, in the relationships we have, and in the work that we do. What if, on the other hand, we were able to acquire the ability to deal with these shifts with poise and discernment, therefore transforming hardship into an opportunity for growth and self-discovery? The book Meditations, written by Marcus Aurelius, is a good example of this. Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic, which implies that he believed it was essential to cultivate one's own internal ideals and to acquire the ability to exercise self-control. He believed that if we focus on the things that we have the ability to control, such as our thoughts, feelings, and actions, we would be able to cope with issues that come from the outside world while maintaining our balance and calm. Stoicism essentially teaches us that we are the ones who are responsible for our own pleasure and well-being, regardless of the challenges that we are confronted with. Is there anything that this brilliant intellect can impart to us? This video will take us through the process of reading through Meditations and identifying 10 timeless life lessons that will assist us in developing our inner fortitude and resiliency. Not only will we learn how to handle challenging situations via these teachings, but they will also inspire us to become more resilient in our day-to-day lives. We are able to better cope with hardship, learn from it, and live a life that is happier and more fulfilled if we make use of the knowledge that Marcus Aurelius presented. As we go through these 10 courses, we will, among other things, learn how to exercise control over our ideas and perspectives, accept the things that we are unable to alter, remain in the here and now, develop more humility and empathy, and a great deal more. Every single one of these teachings is founded on the Stoic philosophy that Marcus Aurelius never wavered from and adhered to throughout his whole life. They provide us with the ability to face the challenges that life throws at us with fortitude, insight, and determination. Whether you are dealing through personal troubles, challenges at business, or you just want to know how to live a life that is more healthy and enjoyable, the teachings that Marcus Aurelius has to offer may be a great source of inspiration and insight. Lesson 1. Take responsibility for the way you perceive things. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. What is real to us is determined by the way in which we see the world around us. Our responses to situations, the way we interact with other people, and ultimately how we feel about ourselves are all altered as a result of this. Marcus Aurelius's quote serves as a powerful reminder that we must pay close attention to the thoughts that we have and the way that we see the world around us. By coming to terms with the notion that our interpretations of events are not objective truths, but rather subjective perspectives, we may start to take control of our emotional responses and mental processes. We shall be able to cultivate stronger inner strength and resilience as a result of this. The first step in gaining control over our thoughts and perceptions is that we must first become conscious of ourselves. It is essential that we maintain a close check on our ideas and be able to identify instances in which we may be thinking in ways that are detrimental or not at all beneficial. As soon as we become conscious of these tendencies, we will be able to work toward replacing them with thoughts that are more constructive and reasonable. One of the most effective ways to cultivate this ability is to engage in awareness exercises on a daily basis. The practice of mindfulness involves concentrating on the here and now without passing judgment on it. This allows us to become aware of our thoughts and feelings as they arise without being attached to them or responding in an excessive manner. Practicing mindfulness may assist us in developing a greater sense of self-awareness and teach us how to recognize when our ideas need modification. Putting your thinking to the test, also known as cognitive retraining, is yet another method that may assist you in gaining control over how you see things. In order to do this, it is necessary to become aware of any negative or irrational ideas, to challenge them, and to replace them with thoughts that are more rational and balanced. It's possible that you believe, "I'm a failure because I didn't get that promotion." Try switching your perspective to, "I may not have gotten the promotion this time, but that doesn't mean I'm not good enough or worthless. I can learn from this and continue to grow professionally." Finally, being in the company of positive individuals may also assist you in controlling the way that you think about things. Find individuals that you admire, whether they be friends, instructors, or other people, and who have the views and characteristics that you wish to cultivate. Keeping a more optimistic and helpful attitude may be facilitated by engaging in activities and having conversations that bring about pleasant emotions. To summarize, one of the most essential things that we can do to develop our endurance and inner strength is to exercise control over the way that we perceive the world around us. Being more self-aware, engaging in mindfulness practices, engaging in cognitive retraining, and surrounding ourselves with positive people are all ways in which we may train our brains to provide us with a more balanced and optimistic perspective of the world. Having this shift of perspective might provide us with the fortitude to confront the difficulties and obstacles that we encounter in life with more self-assurance and composure. Always keep in mind that, as Marcus Aurelius put it, our opinions are not unchangeable realities, and that we have the ability to alter them to our own advantage. Lesson 2. Let go of things that you are unable to alter. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. One of the most significant teachings that Marcus Aurelius imparts to us is the need of accepting and letting go of things that we are unable to alter. This is one of the most significant concepts in Stoicism, and it is also an essential component in developing one's own inner fortitude and resilience. When we learn to accept the unpredictability of life and the circumstances that are beyond our control, we are able to direct our attention and energy on the things that really deserve our attention, our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Despite the fact that life is full of ups and downs, we are able to find happiness and harmony with the current moment when we accept what is. We are able to liberate ourselves from feelings of fear, worry, and wrath when we accept that we do not need to be in command. The ability to manage difficult circumstances with compassion and knowledge is facilitated as a result of this. In order to understand and embrace this style of thinking, you must first acknowledge the aspects of your life that you are unable to alter. Practice accepting the things that are occurring to you in their current state by writing down all of the things that you are unable to alter about the things that are happening to you. This assignment has the potential to help you become more aware of the things that you can and cannot manage. You will be able to quit spending time attempting to alter things that you are unable to change as a result of this. One other approach that may be of use is the art of non-attachment. In order to be non-attached, one must acknowledge and embrace the fact that everything in life is subject to change. The realization that everything is transient and subject to change may assist us in gaining a better perspective on the situation and in learning to accept the typical ups and downs that are a part of life. And in the event that you are going through a challenging period, remind yourself that it will eventually pass and make an effort to approach it with an open heart and mind. Self-acceptance may also be improved via the practice of meditation, which is another effective method. It is possible to have a better understanding of how you react to challenges in life by allowing yourself time each day to clear your mind and pay attention to the thoughts and feelings that you are experiencing. Increasing your self-awareness may assist you in recognizing when you are having difficulty accepting things that you are unable to alter, which in turn can assist you in changing your attitude so that you are more accepting. When it comes to developing our endurance and inner strength, the single most essential thing we can do is learn to accept the things that we are unable to alter. By engaging in practices like as meditation, non-attachment, and mindfulness, we may cultivate a perspective on life that is more positive and welcoming. Marcus Aurelius expressed it so wonderfully when he said that having this attitude not only helps us cope with hardship with grace and knowledge, but it also helps us appreciate the beauty and prosperity that life has to offer. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Pay attention to the here and now, as the third lesson teaches you. There is a quote attributed to Emperor Marcus Aurelius that says, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, the mind should concentrate on the present moment." One of the things that Marcus Aurelius emphasizes a great deal is the importance of living in the present moment and not getting caught up in either the past or the future. Focusing on the here and now may help us feel more at peace with ourselves and increase the amount of enjoyment we get out of life. By focusing your attention on the here and now, you may reduce feelings of stress and anxiety, get a deeper understanding of who you are, and enhance your mental health in general. By practicing mindfulness and being present, we are able to completely connect with our sensations and feelings, which allows us to avoid being continually distracted by memories from the past or anxieties about the future. If we are more aware, we are able to get a deeper understanding of ourselves as well as the world around us, which in turn enables us to develop and discover more about ourselves. The practice of mindfulness meditation is one method that may be used to develop the habit of being present in the moment. Being able to observe your thoughts and feelings without passing judgment on them is an essential component of this style of meditation, which helps you to completely immerse yourself in the here and now. For the purpose of practicing mindfulness meditation, all you need to do is choose a calm location, take a seat, and concentrate on your breathing. Recognize your thoughts and feelings as they arise without passing judgment on them, and then gradually return your focus back to the way you are breathing. For as little as 5 minutes each day, you may engage in this activity, and it has the potential to have a significant impact on your health. You may also assist yourself in remaining in the here and now by including activities that require thoughtfulness into your everyday routine. This may include activities like as mindful eating, in which you take pleasure in each mouthful and pay attention to the flavors and aromas of the food you are eating, or mindful walking, in which you pay attention to your surroundings and how your body feels as you walk. Through adding awareness into your day-to-day activities, you may make yourself more in tune with your thoughts and feelings, as well as raise your appreciation for the moment that you are now experiencing. Putting aside some time each day to reflect on the situation and assess your own performance is something you should consider doing. Journaling may be an effective method for processing your experiences, feelings, and ideas, because it allows you to reflect on your behavior and thoughts during the day and see patterns in your behavior and thoughts. Furthermore, it might assist you in being more present. You have the ability to acquire knowledge that will assist you in being present in the here and now and in making more informed choices in the future. Lesson 4. Acquire the qualities of humility and compassion. Prior to making a negative statement about another person, you should first consider the flaw that you have that is most similar to the defect that you are going to criticize it. The development of resiliency and inner strength calls for the cultivation of traits such as compassion and humility. They assist us in developing stronger relationships, thinking with more compassion, and gaining a deeper understanding of who we are. One of the most important lessons that we can learn from this statement by Marcus Aurelius is that before we criticize or condemn other people, we should first consider how imperfect we are and make an effort to comprehend how they feel and what they have gone through. Understanding that we are not flawless and that everyone, regardless of their history or position, has something to teach us is an essential component of showing humility. When we are modest, we are more receptive to hearing comments and making progress in our own lives. Our ability to cope with issues and adapt to new circumstances is facilitated as a result of this consideration. It is important to be humble because it requires you to pay attention to the ideas and opinions of other people and to be prepared to recognize when you are wrong or when you may learn something from them. During this week, make an effort to say less and listen more. Additionally, you should be prepared to take responsibility for your actions and acknowledge when you have made errors. Growing as a person and becoming more powerful may be accomplished by being upfront and honest about the areas in which you struggle. On the other side, empathy is the act of making an effort to comprehend how another person is feeling, what they are thinking, and what situations they have gone through. When you are able to connect with others on a more profound level, it may assist you in overcoming challenging circumstances and establishing greater connections, both of which will make you more resilient in the face of hardship. Having conversations with other people is an excellent technique to improve one's comprehension via active listening. You should give them your undivided attention and make an effort to understand things from their perspective without passing judgment on them. Open-ended questions will not only encourage them to discuss more deeply, but they will also demonstrate that you are interested in the ideas and emotions that they are expressing. And further method for developing empathy is to engage in acts of service or volunteer work. It is possible to develop a better feeling of compassion and empathy by providing assistance to other people, particularly those who are suffering or in need. Having this knowledge can assist you in better comprehending their feelings and experiences. Having a modest and understanding attitude is a crucial component in the process of developing grit and inner strength. By engaging in activities that engage us in active listening, thinking about ourselves, and engaging in activities that make us more empathetic, we may develop a greater capacity for understanding and humility. Lesson 5. Express your appreciation. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. The importance of gratitude is shown to us by Marcus Aurelius, who demonstrates its immense power. It is possible for us to have a more optimistic attitude on life, better our health, and become more resilient when things go difficult if we pay attention to the positive aspects of our lives and take pleasure in the beauty that they contain. Thanking someone is a fantastic way to express gratitude for numerous reasons. Research has shown that expressing gratitude on a regular basis is associated with increased pleasure, improved mental health, strengthened relationships, and even improved physical health. People have a tendency to be more optimistic, decrease their levels of stress and anxiety, and improve their ability to cope with challenging circumstances when they are appreciative. In order to incorporate an attitude of gratitude into your everyday routine, you can consider beginning a book of gratitude. Every day, regardless of how large or little the things you are glad for are, write down 3 things that you are thankful for. This simple task may assist you in shifting your focus from the negative aspects of life to the positive aspects, allowing you to recognize and appreciate the positive aspects that you might otherwise overlook. One further approach to demonstrate compassion is to tell other people thank you for their assistance. We would want to express our gratitude to your friends, family, and colleagues for their unwavering support, kindness, and acceptance. Not only do you build your connections with them by letting them know how much they mean to you, but you also increase your own feeling of gratitude by doing so. Making it a habit to reflect on the things you've accomplished successfully and the challenges you've overcome is another important consideration. Being conscious of your own personal development and the lessons you've picked up along the way might help you appreciate the route you've chosen and encourage you to feel greater gratitude for the events that have changed you. Mindfulness may also assist you in developing a greater sense of gratitude. It is possible to learn to appreciate the simple things that we often fail to notice, such as the feeling of the sun on our faces or the sound of someone laughing with us, by taking the time to connect with the present moment. By taking pleasure in these moments, you might cultivate a greater sense of gratitude for the little things that life bestows upon you. An effective method to enhance your health, maintain a positive mood, and become stronger is to make gratitude a regular part of your life. It is possible to increase your sense of gratitude for all the wonderful things that have occurred in your life by keeping a gratitude book, expressing your appreciation to other people, reflecting on the ways in which you have developed as a person, and engaging in mindfulness practices. Lesson 6. Look at challenges as opportunities to make growth. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Martin Luther King. I.e. In this powerful lesson, Marcus Aurelius advises us to see misfortune not as an insurmountable obstacle, but rather as an opportunity for personal growth and betterment of oneself. Changing the way that we think about challenges and setbacks is one way that we may increase our grit and overall inner strength. Even in the most difficult of circumstances, this will be of great assistance to us. There are several ways in which overcoming obstacles may assist you in developing as a person. They provide us with the opportunity to acquire new knowledge, gain valuable experience, and get a deeper understanding of who we are and what we are capable of doing. In addition to boosting our confidence, encountering adversity may help us become more conscious of our ability to persevere through difficult situations and emerge stronger on the other side. Changing one's perspective on adversity such that it is seen as an opportunity to learn and develop is the first stage in the process. Individuals that have a growth mindset are of the belief that we are capable of enhancing our abilities and knowledge by exerting ourselves and being committed to our task. When you are confronted with a challenge, it is important to consider what you may gain from the experience or how it might help you become a more resilient and capable individual. Your ability to reframe negative ideas is another way that might aid you in seeing hardship as an opportunity for personal development. When you are in a difficult situation, you should make an effort to be cognizant of the negative ideas that come to mind and intentionally transform them into words that are more positive and strong. Take, for example, the idea, "I'll never be able to handle this." Instead, you could shift your mindset to something along the lines of, "This is a difficult situation, but I can learn and grow from it." In addition, the experiences of other people who have overcome challenges and developed as individuals may serve as a source of encouragement. It is possible to get knowledge about the lives of influential individuals by reading books or listening to presentations about them. It's possible that these individuals have gone through challenging situations, yet they have triumphed over them. One of the most effective ways to keep in mind that every challenge has the potential to bring about development and transformation is to use these instances. When you are confronted with challenges, you may also want to consider seeking assistance from personal friends, members of your family, or even professional advisors. When you have a network of people who care about you, they may provide you with essential support, guidance, and a new point of view. This can help you see issues as opportunities to develop rather than challenging hurdles that are hard to overcome. One of the most important aspects of cultivating grit and inner strength is seeing hardship as an opportunity for personal development. Through adopting a growth mindset, engaging in the practice of rethinking, searching for inspiration, and seeking assistance from others, we may acquire the ability to see challenges as opportunities to learn, develop, and become better individuals. Employing your mental faculties is the 8th lesson. Marcus Aurelius is credited as saying that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius places heavy emphasis on the significance of reasoning and logical thinking to our overall happiness, as well as our ability to persevere in the face of hardship. By guiding your thoughts and actions with reason, you may improve the quality of the decisions you make, improve your ability to manage your emotions, and tackle challenges with more concentration and fortitude. The ability to think logically is essential for overcoming challenges because it enables us to examine a problem in a sensible manner, locate potential solutions, and evaluate the benefits and drawbacks of many different options. We are able to decrease the impact of powerful emotions like as fear and anger, which may often obscure our judgment and cause us to make poor decisions when we approach challenges with a logical mind. Having the ability to think critically is a talent that may assist you in thinking more rationally. In order to do this, it is necessary to inquire about their ideas, evaluate the evidence, and consider the situation from a variety of perspectives. The next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, it is important to take a step back and consider the assumptions that you could be making, if there is sufficient evidence to support your viewpoints, and whether there are any alternative answers or solutions that you might have overlooked. Increasing your capacity for logical thought may also be accomplished via the practice of regular self-reflection. Every once in a while, we should examine our ideas, perspectives, and actions in order to get a better understanding of our preconceived notions, mental processes, and goals. Having an awareness of oneself may assist us in recognizing instances in which our emotions or erroneous ideas are clouding our judgment. This enables us to modify our thought processes in order to become more rational and rational. It is also essential to have the ability to exercise control over your sentiments, since intense emotions may make it difficult to think in a rational manner. Deep breathing and mindfulness meditation are two strategies that may help you better manage your feelings and generate mental space for clear, rational thinking. These practices can help you better manage your emotions. Lastly, you should search for opportunities to learn and enhance your problem-solving abilities. You should look for these opportunities. Do activities that require you to think, such as playing strategic games, solving riddles, or engaging in debates. Your capability to tackle challenges with rationality and clarity will be enhanced as a result of these experiences, which will also assist you in developing your ability to think logically. In order to triumph over challenges and cultivate a resilience, it is necessary to be able to make use of one's rational capacity. We may develop a more rational mindset that enables us to cope with the challenges that life throws at us in a more clear and effective manner if we engage in activities such as problem-solving, self-reflection, critical thinking, and emotional regulation. Lesson 8. Make an effort to practice inner tranquility. A quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius states that the soul is colored by the thoughts it has. According to Marcus Aurelius, our ideas have a significant impact on how we feel and on the level of satisfaction that we experience on the inside. The cultivation of inner calm is essential for the development of resilience and the maintenance of mental equilibrium because it helps us to cope with challenges in a more efficient manner and to maintain our composure in circumstances that are challenging. There are numerous reasons why having peace of mind is vital. To begin, it makes it simpler to cope with worrying and uneasiness during stressful situations. People are better equipped to cope with the stresses and unknowns that come with life when they have reached a point where they are at peace with themselves. Maintaining this hormonal equilibrium may help you avoid being overworked, reduce the likelihood of experiencing issues related to your mental health, and enhance your overall health. Secondly, when we are at peace inside ourselves, we are able to think more clearly and choose better solutions. In situations when we are not experiencing a great deal of mental turbulence, we are able to examine issues with a greater degree of concentration and clarity, which enables us to generate more effective solutions and strategies. Participating in activities that bring you joy and help you relax is an excellent method to discover the serenity that you seek inside yourself. Going outdoors, participating in sports, or getting together with family and friends are all examples of activities that might fall under this category. It is possible to cultivate a sense of calm and serenity by placing a high focus on activities that include self-care and caring for others. In order to effectively manage anxiety and negative feelings, it is very important to acquire effective coping methods. You may, for instance, engage in some deep breathing methods or engage in some physical activity such as yoga or going for a stroll. Using these techniques may assist in reducing stress and bringing your emotions back into equilibrium. Last but not least, give some thought to beginning a regular practice of gratitude, which was something we discussed before. You are able to enhance your mood and discover inner peace by focusing on the positive aspects of your life and expressing gratitude for the things you already possess. Improve your ability to maintain a detached stance. Attach yourself to what is spiritually superior, regardless of what other people think or do. The Roman Emperor Julius Caesar. Within the context of this lesson, Marcus Aurelius instructs us to cultivate a sense of detachment from external occurrences and circumstances by concentrating on our own internal ideals and spiritual development, rather than seeking acceptance or pleasure from other people. Through the use of this strategy, our inner fortitude and endurance may be strengthened. There are a lot of positive aspects associated with solitude. Maintaining our composure and emotional steadiness in the face of hardship or difficulty is made easier by detachment. Additionally, it prevents us from being too attached to outcomes, possessions, or the perspectives of others, which may lead to feelings of anxiety, tension, and depression. Take the first step in becoming more detached in your day-to-day life by paying closer attention to your thoughts and the ways in which they influence you in reaction to the events that are occurring around you. The technique of observing your feelings and ideas without being too attached to them or identifying with them is something you should be working on. Be conscious of how you respond to different situations. With this newly acquired self-awareness, you will be able to recognize when you are concentrating too much on the events that are occurring around you and will be able to redirect your attention inside. In point of fact, the teachings that may be learned from Marcus Aurelius's meditations are very beneficial for developing one's inner fortitude and resiliency. Allow me to go over and emphasize a few of the most significant points that we have learnt from these lessons. 1. Controlling perception. Being aware of the fact that how we see things has an effect on how they really are may assist us in better managing challenging situations. 2. Acceptance of the unchangeable. When we learn to accept the things that we are unable to change, we are able to concentrate on the issues that we are able to alter. 3. Being present in the moment to the fullest extent. Being completely present in the moment enables us to discover that our everyday lives are filled with worth and serenity. 4. Humility and empathy. Being modest and considerate of other people is beneficial to your development as a person and in the way you connect with other people. 5. If you want to be more content and happy, you should learn to be grateful for what you already possess. Accepting challenges. Accepting challenges as opportunities to develop oneself is one way to transform mistakes into valuable learning experiences. 7th, we are guided by reason. Using reason to assist us in making judgments enables us to navigate through challenging circumstances and make better selections. 8. Developing inner peace. Self-reflection and mindfulness are two practices that may assist you in developing inner peace, which in turn can aid you in being more emotionally robust. 9. Putting detachment into practice. You may learn to detach yourself from external causes by first acknowledging that life is just transient and then concentrating on your own personal development, beliefs, and faith. 10. Keeping moving forward. Overcoming challenges and attaining personal progress requires persistence, having clear objectives, having self-compassion, having support, and reflecting on all that you have accomplished. By incorporating these understandings into your day-to-day existence, you will be able to significantly enhance your personal development, resilience, and inner strength. It is important to keep in mind that this is a process that is continuous and requires repetition and dedication. In spite of this, the teachings of Marcus Aurelius may serve as a timeless guidance that can assist you in handling the challenges that life throws at you with grace and wisdom.